afternoon. And when we talk about social media and the internet and the technology of today, we kind of cover all bases here in the TORC series. Right now, as we speak, the internet is buzzing with the action about to take place here at Park River National Off-Road Raceway. Right here on this facility, inside a trailer, we've got Robbie Floyd and Ricky Johnson talking to a worldwide audience. We're about to open up pro racing here this afternoon. Be reactive. Be reactive to the cameras. Everybody's watching you. Ladies and gentlemen,
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, storms back to Park River International Raceway for more intense short course dirt racing action. Thousands of hardcore fans have swarmed the hillside, eager to bear witness to another display of earth-churning horsepower. It's the throwdown in the UP, and in round 7, this challenging track went toe-to-toe with the world's toughest drivers and their beastly machines. The Clyman brothers put on a show of Ponzi power, with Kyle taking the checker just ahead of sibling rival Cody in the pro lights. Pro 2 newbie Andrew Carlson stormed through the field, holding off a tenacious and determined Luke Johnson to claim the top spot. And Johnny Greaves broke son CJ's Park River streak, taking the honors again after 2 years to reclaim the top spot in Pro 4. But it stays in the family. In just a few moments, the green flag will fly for round 8, and the drivers will have their say. It's a new race, a new test, a new chance to make amends. And what's to come is anyone's guess. This is a sport where literally anything can happen, and usually does. From Park River International Raceway, this is TORC, the Off-Road Championship. It's a chilly summer day in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, but it's a great day of racing. We're about to have a throwdown in the UP. Stop number 8 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Park River. I'm Robbie Floyd, joined by Motorsports Hall of Famer Ricky Johnson. And in RJ, in racing, you always hear the adage, always expect the unexpected. I never expected Andrew Carlson, a Pro Lights driver, to race in Pro 2-wheel drive here in Park River at the last round, much less win his first race.
Well, the planets aligned perfectly for this young driver. He bought Keegan Kincaid's winning truck from last year. He had the champion from Pro 2, CJ Greaves, spotting for him, and he led from green to checkered flag. The planets aligned perfectly, and he did a great job putting up with a lot of pressure from Luke Johnson. But you know what happens when a young driver wins? You always want to win, so we'll see if he can do that again today.
And now all eyes are on Andrew Carlson, and right now he's caught up with Kate Osborne.
The man of the day in round 7, especially in Pro 2, Andrew Carlson taking home his first Pro 2 win. But it didn't come easy, especially after disappointing Pro Light. How did you change your mindset knowing you had a job to do in that Pro 2?
Yeah, so coming out of the Pro Light, definitely wasn't happy with how I drove, but you got to put it behind you. You know, I wanted to learn from the mistakes I made and, you know, kind of driving not as aggressive as I should have. So got in the Pro 2, knew what the track was like, just had to put it all behind me and go have fun. So
roles are reversed here today. Starting from the back, it's a lot more fun when you have clean air, but you have a strategy here today. What's it going to be?
Yeah, you know, it's a big field. There's 15 cars in there, so it's a lot of passes to make in 10 laps. So it's going to have to be more than a guy a lap. So you got to get moving right away and hope for some mistakes and capitalize on everything you see. So just got to have fun again, but I got to have bigger shoulders today and to get in there.
All right, being aggressive and having some strategy is going to be key for Andrew Carlson today, especially in Pro 2.
And we'll see the Pro Light and Pro 2, which we'll see Andrew Carlson in a little bit later. But the fans on hand here first get to see the Pro UTV, starting off with the Pro Stock UTVs. We've had a full day of racing already leading up into this, a lot of sportsman classes, Ricky. And now the pros. I mean, they're all pros. If you get paid to do what these guys are doing, they're all pros, but you have different levels and different classes, and we're starting them off with the UTVs. I think it's a big stepping stone. When you see guys like CJ Greaves line up on the starting line, you know he's having a great time, but also I think it helps him for the Pro 4s.
Well, and I have to mirror that because I know that Luke went down and bought a Yamaha from Cohen Motorsports in California, and he uses that to practice and have fun because it's you go back to why you started. It's like that, having a motorcycle and ride in your backyard. You can take one of these UTVs, and they have so much horsepower, all-wheel drive, all the suspension. It's like a mini Pro 4, and it gives a guy a chance to go out and practice.
And we see the Yamaha UTV pace vehicle leading the field out here. It is not a land rush start, even though they used to have land rush starts right there. It's not a land rush start like at the last round, or a couple of rounds ago at Crandon. But, you know, and some people agree with me, some don't. And some people like UTVs and some don't. But me personally, you know, motocross guy that's got into the short course off-road world, I see this as a good starting point for people. Unlike, or a little different than the buggies were. Buggies used to be the starting point to go into a light, into a 2, into a 4. This, you can buy this on the showroom floor and spend 15 grand to it. You could finance it for one thing, and then come back with 15 more, and you've got a top-of-the-line race vehicle.
Exactly. And the other thing is that we see manufacturer participation. We see it from Polaris, Can-Am, Yamaha. I was walking through the pits and I saw a bunch of my old friends from Yamaha here at Yamalu. So we're seeing that manufacturer support for UTVs like we had with Chevrolet, Nissan, Toyota, and Ford and Dodge way back, you know, in the 80s and 90s. So it's great to see the manufacturers pushing their vehicles on the racetrack as well as in the dealership.
And when you see that, when you see the motorcycle manufacturer, UTV manufacturers putting their time, money, effort into it, maybe the truck manufacturers will put more time, money, and effort back into their off-road programs as well.
Yeah, that's the hope, because we want to see these drivers, and CJ Greaves was a motorcycle racer, went to a truck racer. Now he's back racing, not back racing, but he's racing UTV as well. So that just goes to show you that it's not a toy. You know, back in the day, when people would joke and say it's a glorified golf cart or whatever. These things are race vehicles, 4-cylinder. They're not turbo. You can buy the turbo ones, but not what we race here. And the suspension that Fox and the different manufacturers are coming out with, it's just a great race vehicle.
See the guys line up side by side. I mentioned it's not a land rush start. That's unique to Crandon, but what we do have here is a whole bunch of UTVs. I believe, let me look at my list here, 23 plus. It looks like we had a couple of scratches today. It's just more of attrition. Yesterday didn't hold on. But Dylan Poynton will be on point. Kenny Mash on that front row. CJ Greaves, Adam Reek. Look for those guys. Again, points leaders. They have what do they do, an inversion on their start. So that's why you're seeing CJ Greaves, who's been undefeated for 2017 and undefeated in that UTV period, including last year's last race in 2016. Right now, a 6-race win streak, and you see him starting on that second row.
Green flag is out. The pole sitter is the one that when he hits the gas, everyone goes. But the driver on the outside, that's Mash, looks like he's going to pull the whole shot coming into turn 1.
The big question is, how long can Mash do it? Because that is a bent UTV. There's zero doubt about it. He crashed that thing in Crandon. He showed it to me. I mean, things are just out of place, but he's just going to fight through it here and get it ready for the next round at Redbud.
Sometimes they bend into perfection.
No, it's not that one. Just trust me on this, Reed. Not that one. It's going to be a handful, and as things dry up, it's going to be a handful for him later on in the race. Point, Mash, Reek, Greaves, still on the, or just now starting basically the first lap of the Pro Stock UTVs, and these are basically, you know, there are limited modifications. They're not totally stock. It's still a lot of money into these, but yes, you can finance a race vehicle and put limited resources into it and have a race UTV in no time flat.
That was a strong move by CJ Greaves, and he's got Reek right behind him. What's great is these two kids raced mini bikes together. He said that they started racing like when they were 5 or 6 years old, and now they're both into side-by-sides and racing together. So a great race between CJ Greaves and Adam Reek.
You see Mash up there as well. A lot of Yamahas in the Pro Stock, and again, some of different colors and varieties, but Yamaha has dominated this Pro Stock UTV class. 944 of Reek back there in third place. And color schemes look very similar, smaller numbers.
It's difficult when we have 4 Yamahas with similar paint schemes, and we can't quite pick out the numbers. So we apologize if we're not calling it off quick enough. But looking at CJ Greaves, what he's got to do now, Robbie, is he just has to do like he normally does and be perfect. Try not to make a mistake, because you're so wide open on this big track with these small cars. But you can see how they're stepping outside, stepping sideways, and then also getting on 2 wheels. So he just has to be smooth, and he plans on winning another round.
us on timing and scoring, not getting the actual lap data for these drivers, but one thing we want to point out is that a lap race. After lap 4, we will have a re-rack and restack and reset the field as they are at that halfway point. So it doesn't pay to be in first here, because or even a 10-second gap, a 20-second gap, a minute gap, because you know on the back half of this race it's going to start nose to tail.
Well, I can't disagree with you more on that, Rob, because I've been here and you can see how heavy the roost is and how you can't see. So the more you're up front, the better off you are. We heard some of the drivers.
Or let him go. What do you mean, or let him go?
Well, but you can't let him go because you got five of the guys right upon you. So I hear you. It doesn't really count for anything, except you're getting clean air and you're not blowing through tear-offs.
I hear you, but I'm not feeling it, because the one thing I took off of the last round is just how many people came to me and said the roost is unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, you heard Johnny Greaves say that he was down on tear-offs, and Luke Johnson said that he went through 20 yesterday.
Cam Reimers told me he went through 20 or 30. Yeah, 30.
You know, so everybody was struggling, and it's not that it's that muddy. It's just you're getting bead blasted, and when it hits you, it pits the tear-off really bad. And a lot of times it'll pick 2 and 3 or 4 of them. Then you keep peeling them, trying to get a clear view, and you don't. So some of the drivers are down to wiping it off at the end, but then the shield is scratched.
And then you got to hope also that it's not muddy of sorts, because then you're just smearing it across.
CJ Greaves looking at the inside, then just running just inside that cushion, but avoiding the roost, looking up the inside.
That'd be the 947 of Kenny Mash just in front of him. Look at that, 1, 2, and 3. CJ Greaves, the 933 Yamaha, and third in that picture. But Dylan Poynton, I mean, pretty darn strong. Starting the year off with a 7th, but that was his worst finish of the season. He follows up with 3-2, 3-3, and then a 6 at the last round. Wasn't his best work there, but I bet you he had his hands full.
Yeah, you saw he got on the bicycle a little bit. Now we see Mash looking to the inside with both guys fighting, and then CJ just trying to pick, which way do I go? Do I pick him? Do I pick second or pick third? And right now he's trying to just stay out of the roost.
Yeah, and Mash, I'm telling you, that vehicle is beat up. I think KGB is going to get the work next week, but had cage parts, because, you know, he rolled that thing at Cran and really tore it up, but the frame itself, things just aren't right and aren't jiving correctly. And I'm like, is it doing the same thing? He said, no. When I'm turning to here, it wants to go left, and then it gets loose, and then it's wanting to go right. So it's all over the place. Just the consistency's not there.
Well, he's driving the wheels off and doing a great job of it right now, because he's holding off the guy that's been so dominant. CJ looks to the inside. So what I see coming up is CJ is setting up a pass on Graveyard Turn. He's going to get around the outside, then shoot across to the inside, and then try to get a little bit of a run coming through here. And then try to get him on the inside on the Graveyard Turn, but Mash is just running his own line.
And not giving up too much on that inside to enable CJ to get underneath him. You see Point now starting to dig in a little bit, those outside tires. 947's Mash. He's not in the best position here, even though, well, I say that.
Well, he did the right thing, because if he would have fought CJ, went off that jump side by side, that would have put him on the outside. Better off to check up a little bit and then stay with CJ through the S-turns. And now he can watch his lines and try to work his way up there with CJ. Because when you're racing with somebody that's been dominant, sometimes it's better to let them by, learn from them, and go to school. And that's what it looks like Mash is doing, is he's trying to stay with CJ and chase down Pointer.
CJ probably pointing, yeah, but CJ probably had to work a time or two on the machine just in front of him. Dylan Point out of Littleton, Colorado, but he's sponsored by Yamaha, Monster Energy, Yamaluke, Maxxis, Graves, Motorsports, Method, Fox, and Impact. So that's probably a Johnny-built Yamaha that he's racing side by side. So equally prepared. And what is it? CJ takes care of his, and I believe Lunderby's as well. So, I mean, he's busy back in the shop.
Yes, I love CJ. He's not wasting any time. He's like sticking his nose in there everywhere that he can, making sure that he fills it up. Oh, because we were going to the competition yellow. So our apologies on that. Our bad. We should have been staying on top of that. But we were watching the race and enjoying it.
Yeah, it was good. It was getting closer, and you could see the intensity of CJ Greaves, and he knew he needed to turn it up a notch because he wanted to be in front on that restart. Again, 4 laps down. We still have 4 more to go, as they will get back in single file lines. So you're not supposed to pass anyone here in this spot. I'm not saying it hasn't ever been done before, but no matter what kind of advantage or disadvantage you have between the guy in front of you or the guy behind you, you're going to start nose to tail in that restart area. You see two different flagging stands, one on top of a hill. The one on the bottom hill is actually the flagging stand for finish, white flag, and etc. Let's go to Kate Osborne.
It was so cool talking to CJ Greaves about Adam Reek. He said first, round 7 was so much fun running against him. He said, as you said, Ricky, they went back to when they were 5 years old. But one thing that CJ said, he's very impressed with Adam because he actually broke his back in motocross. And he's so stoked because he thinks he's so talented and is excited to see him here in UTVs.
Thanks, Katie. Now, Reek back in 4th place. He was 19 seconds behind the leader pointing, but that's going to be about 3.5 here after they take the green flag. Fastest lap of the race, the 9:18. So it's actually Zach Martin out of Cochran, Georgia on the Snow Dog Snowplows Maxxis Yamaha that had the quickest lap of the race. That was on that last lap of the 14:44. Jake Lunderby, the second quickest, the 9:55. He's worked his way up into 5th, or actually started in 5th. He's staying in 5th. Reek quickest, 3rd quickest. CJ just behind in 4th. And Poynton was 5th fastest, but he was the fastest of period the first half of that race. Out in front, leading the field. We're back to green. CJ sticking a nose to the inside. Poynton, there's Mash as well. Not enough room there. The track holding up, but I think it's going to get dry here pretty quick.
Well, it's typical Bark River. The cushion is starting to get pushed out further and further, but it seems like the guys aren't able to get a hold on the inside. It's so blue-groove that when someone tries to pass, even with the all-wheel drive, they're not able to get the traction to make the pass. So you got to use the cushion and force the guy into a mistake.
I can't remember. We've had, even though this is round 8, we've actually had 6 rounds of racing competition. CJ Greaves goes the inside. I don't remember anybody being in front of him for this long, and I say that just as CJ makes a pass. He makes a pass, but he also gets on the brakes to guard that inside because he knew Dylan was about to shoot underneath.
Yeah, what you want to avoid is an over and under. That's what almost happened, but CJ was smart enough. He knows not to open up too much on the inside through the middle and the exit.
A great race here. The top 4, top 5, but it's getting a little slippery out there, and you can see the dust. It's something you have to account for. This is the Pro Stock UTV class. Poynton drops back to 2nd, but he was out in front here.
And you watch CJ as he comes out, he gets out to the cushion, but then he lets off right here, holds it to the inside to where Poynton had to try to get to the inside, but it's impossible to change the direction when you're right in the middle, when you're loading the outside so much.
That's usually not a breaking point, but it was more about position at that time. Looks like Mash still holding on in 3rd, and he said it was tough when it got slippery yesterday, but he's doing pretty strong. You know, he's looking good today. And he's another motocross guy, so the top 3 drivers come from motocross.
Right, well, you know what they say, with age comes a cage, but these guys are pretty young.
Yeah.
They should still be out there on bikes, but they're smarter than the average motorcycle guy. They switched to a roll cage.
High speed, heading into cemetery. Turn. Yes, there is a cemetery. You'll see it just to your left here in just a second. Well, maybe not. It is right over there. Trying to give you these landmarks.
Lunderby with a strong move up the inside of Mash. He's able to pull that off and push himself from 4th to 3rd place. So Lunderby has been on a roll here, and now it looks like he's taking a look underneath Poynton as well.
And he had a horrible last round, 20th place after coming off one of his better finishes at the 2nd Brandon, where he finished 4th. And that was when he went in on his lid, if I remember right. I mean, he should have finished in the top 3.
Robbie, you had your nose down in your facts, and Poynton was up on 2 wheels. It was a great save, but Lunderby looks like he has a little bit something up his sleeve, and he's caught these guys really quick. So he's going for move, even though he swapped really hard right there.
Well, Lunderby went way wide.
Yeah, something went wacky there. I don't know if they touched, we couldn't quite see it, but Lunderby lost about 4 spots.
And it's hard to make up ground. I mean, he did a great job past him once. It's hard to do it again. You see Martin now moving up in there, that red UTV as well. Zach Martin out of Cochran, Georgia. He's into 4th. Lunderby drops back to 6th. That Reek probably in between the 2.
Zach Martin looking to the inside, taking the hold, the finger that's sticking out in the right left hand right before the finish line, but is able to close it up, but not able to make a pass yet.
9:29, Dylan Poynton. So you're telling me he was pointing the wrong direction? I've been holding on to that one. I was holding that one for a while.
All right. back to the racing. We're here all
Good
week.
race for third. Look at that, nose to tail. A lot of dust. Hard to see where you're going. Can he mash? Hold on to that spot. He wants back on that podium. If he can just make it through this race, he'll have a straight UTV at the next one. Oh man, Lunderby's on it though. Look at that.
Well, it looks like Martin kind of got sucked into the back wheel, and then Lunderby just said, I'm going to go around.
Oh,
hard contact.
Way too hard into that right-hand turn for Martin.
Martin coming in a little bit hot, getting up on two wheels, but what was great is that it would penalize him and not who he hit. Because sometimes it happens, but now we see...
You say that, but there could be something knocked askew on MASH.
Yeah, MASH doesn't look quite right after that, because that was a pretty hard hit. We saw that in the other rounds where Ross Hook in the Pro 4-wheel drive got hit by Keegan Kincaid and took them
Messed up a lot of stuff, but that helped Jake Lunderby. Again, Lunderby now moving up into the top three. You see Greaves point. Lunderby might be able to get second at this rate. I mean, he's just clicking them off one after another. If he catches up to you, he's been driving by. White flags out for CJ Greaves, kid out of Abrams, Wisconsin, and that Maxxis Yamaha. I've seen this movie before, Ricky.
Yeah, this is quite a similar situation that we have.
This is going to be the race, though. The one for second. Can Lunderby get by Dylan Poynton, who was a leader for over half of this race?
Lunderby using the cushion to his advantage. This should give him a good exit. Both of them bicycle a little bit, but Lunderby right on his tail.
That helped, and Lunderby couldn't let out. He saw the UTV in front of him get upset, but that's his time to pounce.
He's got a good run on him.
Oh, where's he going? You're going the wrong way. How does he know where we're going?
Well, that's the problem with coming through there. You can't see between the roost and trying to look through the other guys. That's probably one of the scariest places in off-road racing is coming through that S-turn that fast, and you're flying in the side-by-side.
And that enabled Kenny Mash to close in, and now Mash is going to be on the inside here. If Lunderby needs to get some grip, because Mash, I think he almost feels like he owes somebody something for after getting stuck on the inside.
Mash got mashed.
Yes, he did. And there's a guy heading down to the first turn for the final time. Big gap after being behind at the halfway point. You couldn't tell it now. He's got about 3 more turns left. There's the race for second.
Oh, and we see Poynton, I think, is the one smoking off to the side. So it's Lunderby in second. Poynton is on fire.
And Kenny Mash looks like he's in third. I smell smoke, but I also see a winner. CJ Greaves is 7 for 7 races with victories in Pro Stock UTV. Second will go to Jake Lunderby. Kenny Mash in third. Martin, Reek, and Enlow finish out in the top 6. So what a race as we close it out with a CJ Greaves win and the 929 having to pull off, unfortunately, Dylan Poynton on that last lap. And he was a winner, a race leader not too long ago. We'll hear from our top 3 when we return.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
Welcome back to TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. We're at Park River International Raceway, about 2 hours north of the Green Bay Airport, home of the Green Bay Packers. I wonder, is it, like we had the Hodag when we were at Crandon, that seemed like the mascot. I wonder what the mascot here, Ricky Johnson, would be at Park River.
Gotta be a beaver.
I was like, the Bloody Mary may be their mascot, because there were a lot of them going in those big styrofoam or in a big insulated cups. But what a race, and really not just for the lead, but first, second, third on back to 5th and 6th. That was a heck of a battle.
Yeah, it was great to see Lunderby. I mean, he went to the, didn't go to the back, but he had to work his way up multiple times. So it was good to see how much passing was going on, because a lot of times people would think, these little cars on the big tracks. But Harry's situation right there where he crossed over in the S-turn.
He had that one big mental miscue, but didn't cost him too bad. CJ Greaves, what can you say? He's perfect on the season, takes another win here in Bark River.
Another win for CJ Greaves, but that time it wasn't as easy as you've had in the past, as you had to work your way on up. What are your takeaways from the track here today that you're going to take into Pro 4?
Man, it is dry. I mean, these guys did a good job not overwatering it, but I think that time we could have used a little more water. I think we started 5th, got past right in the beginning, fell back a little bit, started picking them off one by one, and just trying to stay out of the dust. I mean, there's a couple spots I was just holding it to the ground, and I couldn't see where I was going, and just following the dust, really. So. The car worked great. I think this is Greaves Motorsports 1, 2, 3, and Beyond Redline has the tune in these things. Graves exhaust on all 3. These guys just kill it. So we can't thank all the guys from Yamaha that came out here to support us. Graves exhaust, Yamalube, Method Race Wheels, Monster Energy, Fox Shocks, everyone that helps us out. I mean, we couldn't do it without it. These Greaves cars are hard to beat.
CJ with a smile as always, but I think it's bigger right now with 1, 2, 3 here.
A little practice for him as well, Kate, as he prepares for his Pro 4 race here in just a bit. But yeah, you look at that top 3, and they are. They're from Greaves Motorsports with those Graves modifications to their engines. And the Yamaha folks are here, and they have to be happy. Well, Jake Lunderby made a mistake, but it really didn't cost him because he worked his way back up into second. I believe he's over there with Kate Osborne.
Yeah, Jake, that was actually phenomenal. Everyone came outside the fence and they were yelling your name, Lunderby. They were so stoked for you. Congratulations. This is an amazing way to get on the podium here today. You actually had to fight for that one, though.
Yeah, I did. I had a good run going at the beginning of the race. Then after the caution, I made a few mistakes and fell back to 5th or 6th, I think, and then started past more people and got up to 2nd. It was awesome.
I think that's the best way to put it. It was awesome, guys.
Thanks, Kate. As we look at the standings for the season, all right, notice if you see a pattern here. We've only had, 7 rounds completed, even though this is round 8. We're still missing one from ERX, but a 33-point advantage for CJ Greaves. You get 25 points for a win, but you can be consistent and consistently second, and it's still not going to win you championships at this race. CJ has a full race advantage on the field. Let's go down to Kate, who's with Kenny Mash, a beat-up UTV and all, and he still salvages a 3rd.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. That's what he's just saying right now. He has to figure out how to get this cardio straight, but it's good to see on the podium. You've definitely had some battles here in the last couple of weeks. These last couple of rounds have been tough. What's your takeaway?
Yeah, it's a war out there in KGB Customs. I mean, he worked on my car nonstop, and we got it straight enough to get out here to the track. The Greaves Power Sports 1 Yamaha. I mean, with that Yamaha lube, I'm going right down the track. So, yeah, it was a good race, and people are bouncing off each other, and we just survived. And I got my spotter, Jed, and he's telling me perfect. We're inside, outside. So, yeah, I'd like to thank Nationwide Trailers, Yamalube for sure, because they really stepped up, helped me out. Maxxis Tires, they've been working on my tires all weekend because my car's going left and my car's going right. So it's really cricket. But, yeah, I can't thank those guys enough, and OGO and Rockwell Watches. So all my motocross sponsors I bring over to the off-road.
All right, Kenny Mash, it's definitely a good run for him here in 3rd.
Yeah, great job by Kenny, and yeah, he knows what time it is, and he knows his luggage is going to be solid when it gets there. I've always been an OGO guy myself since the day. You're seeing. Is that who I think it is? Is that Dylan Poynton's vehicle being pulled off of the track?
No, that's Polaris.
I couldn't see the number, and I was looking in the back. But yeah, Dylan Poynton was out in front. He led CJ Greaves, I think, probably the longest we've seen this year.
Yeah, I mean, well, they got to start catching up. I mean, they're in the same team and they're running the same cars, and so they're able to start learning from CJ. But CJ's just not making any holes. He's patient at the beginning, and that's what gets you a lot of times is getting to a first turn scuffle up. But he's patient. He waits for it, and then he starts to work it. He gets faster as the race goes on.
Well, Dylan Poynton was out in front, and Kate Osborne's caught up with him. What's the story, Kate, with Dylan?
Oh, he said, well, that's racing, but nonetheless, exceptionally disappointing for Dylan Poynton, as he knew he had a fast car out there. What happened from your point of view?
You know, we had one of the best runs I've had all year, actually. We were doing really well, and, you know, that's, like you said, that's just racing. We had a mechanical failure, and we'll come back strong at Redbud and see how we do.
The good news is he knows he has a fast car, one to potentially beat.
So it sounds like an engine, possibly an issue with him, and had to pull it off with literally less than half a lap to go. You're in medal position, but it just didn't work for Dylan Point. We'll see the Pro Mod UTVs when we return right after this. We're at Bark River International Raceway in Bark River, Michigan.
Trailblade tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
It's an awesome day here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Bark River International Raceway, the short course home for TORC the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. They're home this weekend. Next stop will be in Red Bud, Michigan. The big motocross race on tour on 4th of July weekend. We'll be there on August, 12th, 13th. If you see them trying to break up, they're trying to rip that inside lineup, Ricky, just trying to give it a little something.
Well, you got to break it up, and that's Jeff Norsham. We work together in motocross races and stuff like that. And so what we found is in some of the short course races where we ran in Chicago and Charlotte and stuff like that, you do this. It's not like sticking the forks in there and breaking it up big, but it does scratch the surface and it allows a little bit of the water, because you can see here where right before the double jump and the sweeper on the road turn, that if it gets too slick, it's like ice.
So yeah, he's just out there, turning laps, holding on to this stick, turning right, left, just ripping up a little bit of that dirt on that inside line, just trying to find a little more grip availability for these drivers. But I want to see some banking availability, because we had the Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award, and if you haven't been with us on tour or even at the last round, each and every stop, Vision Wheels donates $250 plus this Bad Mamma Jamma wallet for the Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award. Now, somebody gets to picture the winner. Yeah.
And Mofo, you're throwing that all out there.
I've got them all going. And I already told our producer
straight
Tim.
On us.
I told Tim. I said it is not a good idea giving Robbie Floyd a wallet full of money when we're staying at a casino right down the road at our stop. So that should never happen again. I had it overnight, and I'm telling you.
But why? So where's all the winnings?
I didn't use it. I lost mine, but it was one of those ones where you have it in your pocket and you're going like, all right, I'm just going to borrow from it. I just want to use this. I just want to use this 200 for a moment. I'll put it back in there. I'll put it back in. As soon as I win, I'll just put it back in there. Well, I didn't do it. I thought about it many times, and I was watching that guy win $8,800 on the craps table last night. One of those guys where they're doing all the crazy ritualistic stuff. He started with 200 and he turned it into 8,800. This is 250. Who knows how much he could have made?
Or he could have lost it all.
Yeah.
If it was me.
He could have. I would have.
I go about the wrong way. I go there, I'm going to play until I lose X amount of dollars. Usually, I'll spend $4 on penny slots. I just go big.
That's my number.
I go big.
They give you $5 free, and you're shutting it down $4 in.
Exactly. Boom, boom. I'm out. Too rich for my blood. But it's a great thing the Vision does for the racers and stuff like that. Is puts a little cash in their pocket, because a lot of these guys are on a budget. When they get there, it gives them a chance to take their crew out to dinner or something like that. But also, it's the bragging rights.
He's that guy.
I like to think that I am. It's the bragging rights to when you pull that wallet out and you're at a race, someone's going to go, hey, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that Bad Mofo? What is that all about?
What is this throw down in the UP?
Exactly. And so it gives them an opportunity to remember that. I've won some watches in Europe and stuff like that, and I've had won different things. Trophies are great, but when you have something that you can carry on you, and it kind of brings it up. And so as you're talking, you're like, excuse me, I want to make sure that I pull this out and kind of show it off a little bit.
Show it to everybody.
But very, very cool. So thank you, Vision Wheels, for the great A little sponsor, a little plug for the drivers.
Yeah, no,
drivers
that's good.
need more and more.
That's good.
Yesterday was Andrew Carlson walked home with with the bad Mofo.
First-time award winner, although he was an eligible participant back at ERX when he rolled it twice and still put it back on the wheels and kept driving, but he didn't win it there.
Yeah, well, it's a mysterious judge. It's not us.
No.
We have our opinions, and I'm going to tell. Of course, you know what they say about opinions. I'm going to tell you about mine.
Everybody's got one, and everybody's got one.
And
I'll tell you, Grant's not very good at picking them. I think you said Carlson yesterday. You thought he might have had a good shot at it, but when Grant Langston was sitting next to me, Grant not so good at it.
That's just Grant.
Yeah,
you know.
That's true. It's the South African part of him. He's a little off.
Yeah, and anything can happen here, and it's not just a matter of who wins. Andrew did win, went from the green to the checkered and won the race, but did a great job. Didn't fold under pressure, and he deserved it, well deserved, and he's gonna have to work for it today as well.
There's slip and slide Nordstrom. Moto guy, donut guy. Oh, see, there you go. He did the full 360 there for us.
I think he's listening to the Cooper Tire commercial. The track's on the track to go round and round.
But you look at that berm, though, too. There's a whoop section in that berm. In a motocross track, you can just stand up and ride it, but it'll really upset the suspension in these trucks.
Yeah, well, you got to try to mistime it. You need to be before it or after it, because if you turn right in those bumps, we've seen it collapse the right front and then it shoots the nose back up into a big push and off the track. But that's what Jeff's trying to do, is open up alternate lines for the guys to pass and drive, so it's not just so one line. They're throwing water down, but it's really warm again today and really, really sunny. We had cloud cover earlier, and it was cool.
This thing started heating up.
But it warmed up quick, and the water just goes away really fast.
It's still a nice day. I mean, it's an awesome day. If you're sitting on that hillside, all these fans, and I know I talked about it. We can come in the booth really quick if you want for our camera. But the Bark River has something each and every stop. I've taken my little drink item right here. I've taken this with me to Cancun before.
Your little drink.
My little drink thingy to Cancun with me. But this is part of it. I mean, you go there and you have a nice little daiquiri or Bloody Mary or what have you. Kate Osborne, now what's been your drink of choice here at Bark River? Because the fans on social media want to know.
Oh, all the people out there want to know what my favorite drink is. I'm thinking last year I really enjoyed the daiquiris. I've yet to break into that with us working here this weekend, but I have a feeling that here Sunday night that's going to happen. And I want to buy one of those big mugs. They're like $5, I heard, and I heard that is the best way to go when you're at Bark River. What about you? What are you? I didn't hear what you guys said.
No Bloody Marys for this year.
Strawberry daiquiri.
Yeah, they were delicious. They were.
All right, guys, on social media here, there's lots happening, whether you're catching it on the broadcast here or just some other behind-the-scenes pictures and videos. But we also want to hear from you. We want to see what your experience is like. We want to hear why you love TORC, so make sure you hashtag TORC17. And you know what? If you have a question for Ricky or Robbie, those guys know a lot, I guess. I've been told, gentlemen.
No. He knows a lot. I think I know a lot.
But send us your questions. We want to hear from you. It's something that's really cool about the TORC community, is we feel like we're a very close-knit group. So let us know how much you love TORC. We'll happily talk about it as well.
Hey, we need to get. You need a fan on the scene kind of thing, Kate. I see these people walking. You need to go find the closest person to you, not necessarily a kid, or you need to go grab them, ask them where they're from, and just. You need to be amongst the people, Kate. Who's next? You grab one.
Crowd dive.
Okay, I'm gonna grab this one right here.
Yeah,
come here.
Get over there.
Okay, because this is how it all begins.
You're right.
With this little one. What's your name?
Mason.
Mason, are you? He's gonna totally interrupt.
Oh, absolutely.
For you, what's your TORC experience been like?
Great, very family friendly, awesome. Love it.
He likes the mic already.
He loves it too. Keeps him occupied.
Woo! And that's what it's all about. Nothing like getting the kids with the champagne early, you know?
Yeah, a sparkling cider.
Yeah, a sparkling cider.
He had him shut. The worst part about the whole champagne spray, Ricky, is you've been around. You've been on the shooting side of it. I've been on the receiving side. That stuff burns. People don't realize
when you get blasted in the eyes, it hurts. But I have to say. And also, see, the good thing CJ's got a couple driving suits, because if you get that stuff
back to back,
next thing you know, you got rotten grape juice on you, and she doesn't smell too sweet when you start mixing your sweat in with it.
The molecule can only wash out so much in your driving suit. Yep, that's right. Okay, there's the Pro Mod UTVs, and I know we talked earlier, or we talked about Dylan Poynton had a mechanical there on that last lap. I want to talk about Rodney Van Epperen, who sits second in points, but he was one of our top qualifiers earlier today, and he's going to have to start at the back of the pack because he had something go south in his engine. So instead of sitting there trying to make it survive or possible failure, he's going to head and switching engines. But in doing that, he only had a stock backup in this mod class. So it's going to be hard to work up from 19th place. We may see his streak end here.
Well, and we've seen Kyle Cheney finish second in every round. And so this is a great opportunity for him to pull off a win. But also Van Eperen starts all the way back in 19th. So when you put in a stock motor, even though Rodney is one heck of a shoe and he can do a lot of passing, and he'll probably run it, he'll work his way up into the top 10. But for him to get onto the podium with this, it's going to be a miracle because this track is so fast.
I was talking to him, and he'll just have to see. He has no idea. I asked him how much horsepower he thinks he's down. He told me 40. That would be hard to believe. I mean, the stock Yamaha has good horsepower, but it also shows you how much they could hop up those motors. So again, that might have been his dream-o-meter as we're looking at the Yamaha Pace UTV. That could be his dream-o-meter saying it's a 40 horsepower difference. But he's going to be down in power, and this is not the track you want to be down in power unless it's super, super slick, and it's not quite there yet.
No. And even where it is slick, it's the horsepower line is where everyone's going. They're running out to the cushion. They're using that to slingshot to get off the corners. So the longer, faster way around is still the preferred line, because sometimes at Bark River, like, if it's really hard, it doesn't chew up. What happens is the blue groove gets pushed out so far that the inside line becomes the preferred line, but we have not seen that yet.
And I did see Rodney Van Eperen in his white and blue. It looks almost identical, Power Sports 1 vehicle as CJ Greaves, who just won the pro stock. He is way the heck back there. Even in the start, if these guys don't bunch up tight, you've been there in car racing, if the guys in front of you aren't on their game, you're just giving up even more and more distance.
Well, and on top of that, where a lot of times where bad things happen is in the back. So he's got to avoid the bouncing ball because you got a lot of cars fighting for one position.
There he is.
There you can see the lone Yamaha in the far outside coming around.
He's testing out the dirt. That's him right there on the inside in that white machine. Rodney Van Eperen, 845. We'll just see where he can work up. Kyle Cheney, he's going to be the one to look for as well. Starting in four, Tim Farr, Zach Shimmick on the front row. Let's see who can get this start.
Farr held him out on the beginning, was able to shove him out there and actually open up the door for right behind him. I think it was Hans Auda.
Tim Farr, the only winner other than Rodney Van Eperen this year. Tim Farr on the Can-Am. Again, in the UTVs, whether it be pro, mod, or pro stock, the one Can-Am of Tim Farr, the only non-Yamaha to win a race in 2017.
These modified cars, they're into the wall already, so that's going to probably take away a hub or possibly a wheel, but still, right now, the vehicle's still moving forward. But it's going to be an interesting race. We'll see how quick if Kyle Cheney can work his way up into the top spot.
Again, this is an A-lap race just like in the pro stock class. So after lap 4, they will re-rack and restack. You're seeing a good battle out in front. As you know, I mean, really in this class, we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's been 5 guys at any given time that could win a race, but for the most part, it's been Rodney that's been able to hold on and not to succumb to the pressure.
Right. Well, he's not a new guy. He's run buggies, he's run trucks, so he's very familiar with the pressure that comes week after week. Some of these guys aren't new to racing, even though they may be new to off-road. They've raced motocross, but still, it's a little different when you got all 4 wheels.
Cheney up into second. Cheney maybe up into the lead. He's going to be on the inside there. The series points leader out of Ohio. On that Maxxis machine. Whoa, squirrely. That was almost a massive crash.
Yeah, that was pretty wicked. They got into each other off that jump. But it's Cheney who pulls it off, and now he's out in front.
Driving through big time, a little double section there. Cheney does take over position. Can-Am XPS All CT Racework, the 891 in front of Kyle Cheney.
But I think, it's amazing what confidence can do to a driver. If he knew where Van Eperen was in the back, that he just seems more aggressive to get out to the front. So let's take another look at what happened over the start line. We'll see the 2 drivers come in, they land side by side, and
that was Cheney just getting into the side of him just a bit.
But that was the scary part right there. Was Farr almost cleaned him out. Very, very scary situation. But everybody seemed to pull it off, and Cheney was the recipient of that. But I don't think he was intending to hit him, but he did knock him out of the way. And
Zach Shimmick's the one that's moved into second place out of Swamico, Wisconsin. Bud Light, FXR, DWT, and Havoc. That's the 838 you see there, the blue UTV with the orange roll cage. He was up, fairly late last night enjoying the Bark River offerings for a bit. It's about having a good time here at TORC.
Yeah, but it's about racing right now. And Farr was the one that got hit by Cheney in that over this section before, and he's able to pull it back together. Now he's chasing down Shimmick.
Zakowski in fourth, Schultz, Minerick, Burns, Gilliland in the top 8. Looking up, Rodney Van Epperen, he's back in 12th, so he's passed 7 people right now. The only one that even equals that mark is Gilliland, who's in 8th. Fastest lap of the race, the 891 of Cheney. That was on that last lap of 14. That can't be right. 14:37. That would be a super fast lap.
That'd be blistering fast. I mean, they're fast, but they're not that fast. So we apologize for the little mix-up on scoring and time. I wish we could give you a little bit more. Right now, you're watching the race for second place between Farr and Simic.
In the dust, railing it. Shimmick holding on again. About a lap and a half remaining, and then we'll have that competition caution. Driving around to the outside, trying to make it work. Looks like somebody's slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, we might add a on-track yellow, but it looks like they're back up to speed right now with Simic. And Farr's looking in and looking out, but not quite able to make it work.
Tim Farr out of Wesley Chapel, Florida, on his Can-Am JB Racing Maxxis entry. And I have Can-Am on there, but that sure does look like a Yamaha. No, that's a Can-Am.
That's a Can-Am.
Yeah, that's a Can-Am. There he goes. He keeps trying to find that lower, shorter distance line. He might find it. It might work for him.
Well, but in my opinion, what he's doing is he's taking every shot that he gets. What he needs to do is set it up. This track is so big, like right there. If he makes this work, he's gonna make a liar out of me. And sure enough, he pulls the inside. But Civics is able to pull it back. So what Farr needs to do is figure out where his hot spot is, catch up, get close, and then make your move. Don't pull the trigger every time halfway.
Because he's slowing himself down, and that also enables third place to close in.
Exactly. What you're seeing them back there, and Cheney is gone. I mean, he is just blistering it right now. And now we see Farr looking to the inside once again. Needs to set up that pass. He's got the run down the straightaway. But now, if he looks to the inside, then looks to the inside again, he's got to set that pass up.
Shimmick a good couple of turns over there in the Essence. UTV's jumping way down that launch there. The Cooper tire jump. Staying middle of the road there. A little bit of a hop, not bad. You can deal with that.
But I'm impressed with the suspension on Farr's side-by-side. It really seems to handle the bumps well. Actually, much better than our leader, who we're looking at right now, is Cheney, is coming up to the competition caution, where he really blisters the corners. When you watch him over the jumps, right, watch when he comes through here, it looks like when he bounces, it bounces a little bit too hard, but he does blister very fast. You can see the gap that he has over second and third place.
As he comes across, a little double there, and Cheney takes those red and yellow flags signifying competition caution is out. 4 laps down, 4 more still to go. Shimmick and Farr just behind him. They'll start nose to tail. Zach Zakowski, Schultz, Gilliland in 6, and Rodney Van Epperen has moved up into 7th. He's passed 12 people with a stock motor.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Mattitives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver, and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Mattitives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
Coming into this Pro Mod UTV race, the big question was, can Kyle Cheney take his first win of 2017 after 6 consecutive second-place finishes? He's out in front right now. The man who has won nearly every race this year, the 845 of Rodney Van Eperen, has moved from 19th up to 7th, but he's running a stock motor in this mod class due to an engine change. He didn't have the mod ready because he was missing one part, a cam. Evidently, cams are hard to find in America for that Yamaha as far as a mod version is concerned.
Well, and you don't know what they had spun on that cam, so it's not like they're going to just run down to Escanaba and find one. But
blanks, he was down on blanks. He needed a blank. And
already we're seeing Rodney Van Eperen shoot to the inside, looking to try to pass some more guys. He works his way up into 6th place now.
Whoa, there's a bonsai move. And was that on Van Eperen? I think it may have been. I don't know. It was one of the bikeman entries. I think went Bonsai Willie on it when he said, okay, you're not going to get by me.
Well, and this is playing right into Cheney's hands. And he wants to, you know, if you're a racer that's out front, you want your main competition to have a lot of traffic in the back. And right now, Rodney Van Eperen has his hands full.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I thought that was possibly one of those bikeman Polarises that had gotten past, but he had inside position, but he says, no, I'm taking you wide right here, right now.
Well, right now we have Can-Am in 1st and 2nd, and so here we come back, we see Rodney Van Eperen trying to work his way back, but these leaders are stretching it and getting away, so even if he does get clear, trying to catch them is going to be another story.
Good race for 3rd there, 1, 2, and 3 coming across your screen. That would be 1st, 2nd, there it is. 3rd would be Farzakowski and Schultz. There's Van Eperen trying to work his way back up. Again, he's in 7th as it stands right now. And yeah, that was definitely the bikeman entry that took him hard, and he can't be too happy about that. The 889, that's Jason Luberg.
Yeah.
So Luberg, the one that brought him a little wide coming off of his best finish of the season, was in 5th at the last round. Let's go to Kate Osborne with more.
Drew Schultz tried to save the day for the bikeman team here, trying to get on the podium. They've been having some overheating issues with most of their cars, but he is one of the only guys who has really felt comfortable, and that car has not been dealing with those issues. He hit that 200 mark on the backside jump 2 times, and they've gotten that front arm change. Drew Schultz trying to get on the box for bikeman.
And Drew Schultz into 4th place as it stands right now on the 832 entry. Schultz sits in 6th for points, but after that 15th place finish in the last round, that really took quite a few points away from him. Oh, you're seeing a little understeer, oversteer action for Shimmick. He's dropped back to 5th, and he was just in 2nd at that competition caution.
But Schultz is coming back very strong. It looks like that Polaris is working really strong. He gains a lot of time on the big long turns and down the straightaways, so he's got that thing working out well.
Cheney's out in front. Farzakowski, the top 3. Whoa, on the bike. And we're not talking about Huffy. Oh, and Shimmick. He was heading in there. He didn't really expect the 890 to be there at that time because he was on 2 wheels. I don't really know what Shimmick could have done at that point.
No. He was trying to come across the inside, and next thing you know, Zakowski was right there. So we'll see Zakowski get up on 2 wheels as he comes in here, throws it in. As it starts to get sideways, watch the inside wheels come up. He goes on the bicycle. He does a great job saving it. But now here comes
Shimmick's on
the inside. He actually hits a hole. Right. So it was a mistake on his part to even come that far out. But when you're a driver and you see somebody shoot across the inside, your temper is going to flare because you feel like the guys come in. But now we have a race for the lead between 2 Can-Ams.
What a job, Cheney and Farr wanted to. Oh my gosh. And Tim Farr again, I said he at the top of this race, he's the only guy to beat Rodney Van Eperen this year. Cheney, is it his time? He's out in front right now. Can he hold on it? Oh, and we're hearing Shimmick has lost a wheel, but you're looking at Cheney. Is he starting to lose a little composure? Now he's got the pressure on him. He's not doing the chasing.
Well, and you know it's got to be in his mind, I do not want to get 2nd place again. Right. He's got to be saying that. And right now, Farr is doing a great job just using the track to his advantage, and he really seems like he has it coming together. Because if you watch the 2 of them, even though they're both bouncing around a little bit, I think the chassis setup on Farr's is a little bit better than Cheney's.
Both on KTMs, the CT Racework.
Can-Ams.
Or Can-Am, excuse me, not KTM. Kyle Cheney.
Can-Ams,
yeah, no, thank you. Bombardier product.
Yep, I have to call Robbie's mistakes.
Yes.
There's so many of mine and none of his. But right now it seems like on the slower stuff, it looks like Cheney's got an advantage. He can pull out a little bit on Farr, but Farr seems to really do good from the finish line all the way back over the Cooper Tires jump.
And I could have sworn that was the opposite at the last round with Van Eperen. Van Eperen was better in the tighter stuff, and it was Cheney who was better on the faster. As we're on the last lap, white flag is out. Farr really set up well on that big uphill downhill section. It's now or never for Farr. He's got a lap to do it.
And this is where we've seen Cheney make a mistake coming through this. Now, does he hold it inside? We see Farr to the outside. Going to look to the inside. Cheney pushes a little bit. Farr's got to run on the inside, but Cheney uses the cushion perfectly.
I don't know. Here comes Farr. He's going to have that drive on exit. Now Farr squares it up, going through the S's. Watch this big drop off, and you know they don't want to let off at all. Flying, over 100 feet down this hill.
So Cheney doing a good job of blocking, but Farr looking to the inside, but Cheney is holding his composure very well.
Farr in second. Oh, now he squares it up. Farr's going to go to the inside, but it leads him right into that blue group. Can he hold on inside? And Cheney's just saying, I'm going to get in the blue group. I'm going to burn the rubber off this thing. I'm winning this thing.
What I'm impressed with Cheney is that he's not folding under pressure. He's doing the same thing Andrew Carlson did yesterday, running his line and not worrying about it. If somebody wants to come in and beat him out of the way, that's okay. But Cheney's doing everything that he feels is right, and it's working.
And only a couple of turns remain. Can he do it? Kyle Cheney from Ohio in the Can-Am has one left-hander to go. And it makes no difference about all those seconds. 6 times this year, he is a winner at Bark River. As he takes the Yamaha checkered flag first, the 891 finally does it. Tim Farr, an excellent race in second. Schultz will finish third. And how about Rodney Van Eperen with the stock motor? Actually, Van Eperen moved into third on that last lap. What a point-saving day for Van Eperen. This could have been the championship for him, but he is still well in that championship hunt.
Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter. So count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
What a beautiful afternoon. I do not see a cloud in the sky. It started off cool this morning and for most of the day, but things have heated up not only temperature-wise, but on the track as well. The Pro Mod UTVs have now been completed, the second of our show here on TORCseries.com. I'd like to welcome everybody watching here in the U.S. and around the world, and the thousands of fans on hand here is, they literally leave those stands, they go back around, they grab a refreshing drink or food or raffle or something. It is an absolute event here at Bark River because it's not just about the racing. I mean, you put $5 and you can win a shotgun. I mean, you can win a gift basket. I mean, there's a lot of cool things. And they had a raffle yesterday. I think it had like $4,000 or $2,000 or something like that, but nobody's claimed it yet.
But what's cool is that there's so much going on. When they give the trophies out, there's like wine and cheese baskets, and they have Bark River knives, and then they make really cool trophies. And so it's they put some thought into it. It's not just like some of the other events where it's just I get your trophy and get out. There's thought put behind it, and I have all of my Bark River trophies, and they're cool because you remember because they're distinctive each year. It's not the same trophy, same place, same thing.
This one definitely looks special. And a guy who's going to get it. It looks like they're ready down trackside. Let's hit it to the man. He might have finished second 6 times, but he will remember this win here today at Bark River. Kyle Cheney takes Pro Mod UTVs.
Well timed.
The guy with the target on his back almost that entire race, Kyle Cheney. Congratulations, your first win here in the series. Like, wow, incredible running. You stayed cool, calm, and collected under pressure. How did you do that, especially that last lap, knowing you were being chased?
Yeah, I knew Tim was all over me off the start. He kind of pushed wide on the double or on the tabletop up top, and we pretty much came in the corner together, and he kind of came into me and he messed up and got spun out. I was hoping he'd get back around, and my spotter told me it was him behind me, so I was pretty happy about that. It's awesome. Can-Am goes 1-2, and I get my first win and extend my points lead now. Finally, Rodney's not, he's behind me, but not real far. But congrats to him too for making up all that time.
All right, congratulations, points leader, Kyle Cheney.
Yep, and race winner, Kyle Cheney. And that has to feel so good as you see the 891 on top of Farr. And when you have a driver like Tim Farr putting that pressure on you, I mean, it's even more special.
Yeah, and it's great to see another manufacturer in Can-Am, and he was stoked. He's complimenting his teammate, co-rider in Can-Am, but also he compliments Ronnie Van Eppert for making up all that ground. So it's great to see sportsmanship, is not dead.
Yep. Kyle Cheney takes the win. Tim Farr was close, but still finishes second. A very respectable finish here today, and that should help him in points as well.
Yeah, totally chasing him, trying all you could. You were running some certain lines trying to get around him, waiting for him to make a mistake, which you didn't do. Was there anything else you could have done to potentially make it happen?
I just feel like I needed a few more laps. I got spun out in the first half of the race, and I fell back when I was leading. So I was just putting a charge on, trying to come back through. I kind of got held up for a little bit by the guy that got into second when I spun. So it was just putting down smart laps, and my car worked a little better towards the end of the race than it did the first half. So it's tricky. The tracks are real wet and heavy, slippery in the beginning, and at the end they start to blue groove, and makes it fun, but it's definitely a challenge.
Tim Farr still has to be happy with the second, and Can-Am definitely with 1-2.
Thanks, Kate. As we look at the championship point standings, Rodney Van Eppert in second, loses 4 points, I believe, to Kyle Cheney after Cheney's win. But you see Farr taking a jump up. He passes Zakowski. Now 32 markers behind Van Eppert and Cheney. Anything can happen. Nothing wrong has happened to Cheney this year. A few things wrong has happened to Rodney Van Eppert. I believe he lost an airbox at one round at Chicago, and that took out his throttle body. In here, he had to switch a motor, and that really affected his race. But what a finish. Third place with a stock motor, Kate Osborne.
It's pretty unbelievable that you just pulled that off, Rodney. That's absolutely incredible. Your day didn't start out the way you wanted it to, and I just asked you how that was, and simply put, it was hard. For you, how would you describe your day here today?
We came out of qualifying, set the fastest lap, and we felt really good. And at the end of qualifying, we felt a little vibration in the motor, and we got nervous. We're in this for the points. We didn't have a really good backup mod motor. We stuck a stock motor in this thing with a set of cams, and that just goes to show what these things can do. The Yamaha is unbelievable. A stock motor with a set of cams in mod class, I couldn't be happier. All my crew, them guys are unbelievable. I just stepped back, let them guys do it. I don't even know what to say about it. It was unbelievable. I got to thank Power Sports One, Yamaha, Yamalube, Luke at Beyond Redline dialing this thing in, Johnny Greaves, Duo, Graves Exhaust, All Terrain Communications, Balin Buildings, Maxxis Tires, everybody who helps us. Chad, Hutch, Winky, my mom, dad, my kids. I don't even know what to say. We don't want to get third ever, but in the situation we're in right now, we'll take it. We're in the points hunt yet.
Simply put, Rodney Van Eppert.
Yeah, and Rodney, I talked to him, I said, not the race really Yamaha wanted to have when you might have had motor difficulties, but it proves just how strong his UTV was here at Bark River. When we come back, we'll have more racing at TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged Radios, the authority in communications.
Little track walk for some of the workers here. TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. That's the big Cooper tire launch. As they prepare the track, shouldn't take quite as long as it does for the trucks because they really do some damage to that dirt. But the Cat Equipment taking care of business here in Bark River. We're in the UP, the Upper Peninsula, all the Upers. Where I saw, I live in Texas, you see a lot of Texas outlines of people's tattoos and stuff, but I've seen people lately with this squiggly tattoo. I had no idea what it was, and come to find out, I guess it is the Upper Peninsula.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go down to the podium in your third spot, the number 845 of
Well, lo and behold, when CJ Greaves is the spotter for Andrew Carlson, who better to take us a lap around this Bark River circuit and show us the in and outs of what you need to do here at Bark River International Raceway.
Hey, I'm CJ Greaves. We're here in Bark River, Michigan, and we're going to do a lap around the track. The start line and finish are different, but we do 2x2 rolling start. Coming up to this tabletop, we go green right here, and usually you want to be on the inside because the outside gets real sandy. We're off camber, so the truck naturally wants to float out to the right. We want to try to keep it over here to the left so that we're coming back into this right-hander. I think most people know it as the horseshoe. And right after the horseshoe, we go right back into this tight left-hander. The race line's usually pinching the bottom, catching the berm a little bit here on the outside, and then right into this double. And it's key to get over that double clean, get it set up nice on the outside, stay off the wall, get a good run through here. This is actually the tabletop and the finish line. We start up top, we finish down here, and then we come into, I think, one of the turns Bark River's notorious for is this off-camber, over-the-hill turn. If you mess it up, it's real easy to get out in the grass on the downhill. You come down the back straightaway, it's just wide open. We're coming into what they call cemetery turn because there's a cemetery over there. It's crucial to be able to get through here and not push on the exit. It's real easy because you're coming in so fast to just float and float and float. It's almost a double apex. It's nice and smooth and gradual coming in, and then right at the end they throw kind of a kink in it. Now we go into two singles, and the second single here, super easy to overdrive. It's right into a left-hander, so you land sideways trying to point to the left because we're coming in to a tight left-right chicane. And then we're off to Taco Bell, they call it. And it's the big flyaway jump here at Bark River. Pro 4s, we can go 200 feet to the bottom of the hill all day. And right after that, we're set up for another right-hander. This right-hander leads you right into 3 stutter bumps. So you want to try to be as straight as you can on the exit so that we're not hitting the stutter bumps crooked and possibly getting a flat tire or something like that. It's real important to make sure that you're not overdriving anywhere on this track because it can get you with, you mess up one corner, it leads into the next 3. So it's another corner where we got a single dropping right into the corner. Real high speed, usually gets a blue groove through here, floating right back out here and back across the starting line. That's a lap at Bark River.
Thanks, Kate. And Pro 4s in the staging area, and the Pro 4s in the staging area, and lo and behold, CJ Greaves, the spotter for, I can't think of how it'd go. All of you watching on TORCseries.com, this is how I try and do a little fix here and there for our television show you can watch on BN Sports. In case you're wondering why sometimes I might say things a few times. As you see the Pro 4-wheel drives in the staging area, they'll be racing next. You also see CJ Greaves on the starting line, and lo and behold, he's the spotter for Andrew Carlson. So who better to ask about a lap around this track? Ricky, you've been there before, and you get to do those little walkthroughs and talk-throughs, as we say it. I know, we see the GoPro footage nowadays, but it's different when you're sitting in this chair and able to watch the monitor. It's different than being out there, in the stands or on that spotters deal. I've had, I sat next to your son Luke when we were at Crandon. I've sat next to Johnny, and I think that they see a few things here on the monitors that they can't necessarily pick up out there on the track.
Absolutely. When you're looking across the track, I mean, you're looking right here that we get to see exactly what's happening right at the graveyard corner that you don't get to see. You can see the texture of the dirt. You can see where it's light down low, where it's turning blue groove, how much dirt they're moving from the outside, how much did they water it. So it definitely helps to get onto the track, because when you see stuff like this, you know that they're blading a lot of the dirt from the bottom side. And every time they shave the track, it changes it a little bit, not by a lot. It's not like sweeping asphalt, but when they move it a little bit, because that turn right there where they go around the grandstands pitches the guys in the air. I think it's one of the coolest turns in off-road racing, because you're doing a hard right-hand corner, so the driver's on the low side. When it wants to get up on two wheels, it puts you on the lower side, so it's a scarier feeling. But once you get comfortable with it, it's one of the coolest feelings to slide off that thing sideways and then back or down, sometimes landing on one wheel, wheeling down into the double section.
And also an opportunity to make a pass on that long straightaway exiting, because if you see that guy going inside, you know he's going wide. So I set up outside, and I get more of a straighter jump on the inside.
Well, when you see the guys setting up through the highway or the road turn and then over the finish line jump, they're setting
going
up
away from us right there as that grader comes down. That's where you're launching off.
And turning to the right.
Yes, blind.
Yeah, it's almost a 90-degree right-hand turn. So as you're coming through there, you're setting up at the bottom, and then you're trying to go as straight off of it as you can, but you have to continue to turn. So the guys come completely off sideways. And like I said, the first couple times you do it, it scares the guys quite a bit.
And you see our camera position as they're usually coming towards that camera and dropping off. You don't really see the elevation. There's a lot of it there, and the drop-off, and just the speed that you're having to do this. I mean, every driver talks about it.
Well, and we'll see from the camera from the other side that has the long lens as they're coming into the graveyard turn, that's when they're up on top. So they come over the finish line jump, and now they're throwing it right as they slide through here. You can see the dirt's really nice and flat right now, but it starts to get chucked up and gets holes in it. You can see the white powdery stuff. That's a rock, and so that's going to wear down so far that's going to become an edge. As they fly over, they land on the downside, and they have to get ready for the long turn, the long graveyard turn at the end of the straightaway, and they're about 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's a long straightaway here to the right, and that big sweeper, way out there. See that little barren spot? That's the graveyard, and that's why they call it the graveyard turn. And all the fans, some have to work their way over there if they've been camping throughout the night. But yeah, a graveyard is there. Some people coming in, some heading out, and it's been a long day of racing here today. But you don't want to miss this. We still have Pro 4s, Pro 2s, Pro Lights.
No, we got a lot of racing left to go. We got obviously the UTVs are phenomenal to watch race. But when we start seeing the bigger vehicles, especially the Pro 4s, and they come through there, and the RPMs they get whining, they're up to 8,200 RPM. And it's a sight to see. And I remember back when I was racing Pro 2 with Rob Mack, and we would race Pro 2, and then the two Toyotas would come out with Rick Huseman and Johnny Greaves. We would run, and I'm not a good runner. We would run out to watch because we're fans as well as racers.
We're not going to run, but we are going to step away for just a moment and come back to Bark River in round number 8 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL.
Golf is more than a word. It's a sport, a pastime, and the destination? Sweetgrass Golf Club. Perfect your swing as you aim for the flag on an island. And your stay? At the island. Unwind and relax. A little spin, a big deal. Celebrate the day. All part of your total experience at the island. Stay and play Sweetgrass. Call 877-ISL-GREEN today.
Track prep still underway here at Bark River International Raceway as we prepare for the truck categories. UTVs are done, both stock and mod. And now the trucks are about to fire up, starting with the Pro 4-wheel drives. I'd like to welcome everyone into the booth. Cheers to you, Ricky.
Cheers, buddy.
This is a part of the Bark River Adventure here. I'd like to welcome everybody at home, and you're able to kick back on your couch or your lazy boy recliner and have your refreshment. You do the same thing here, and we want you to make it out. If you haven't been to a stop, you could live on the West Coast, East Coast, Middle Coast, South Coast, whatever. Come out and see a race. There's still plenty of racing to come. There's some must-haves. You can always hashtag TORC17 and hashtag TORC and let us know things, and we can also throw stuff in there and take pictures. I know that you've got a lot of social media followers, but people need to come out to these races. If you haven't been to Chicago, it was in an oval. It was in a dirt oval, and it's a different type of track. And then we move on to ERX. Totally different track than what you see the rest of the tour. It's deeper, sandier, and we're going to have to make up one of those rounds at the end of the year. And then we start moving into the more conventional short course off-road tracks.
Well, and they become more like the motocross tracks where you see in Millville, Minnesota, or Binghamton, New York, or it just goes on and on. But they all have a different flair. This track here at Bark River, I have to say, is the most driver's course in a certain sense, because a lot of the blind side, sliding sideways over the blind stuff, the really high speed corners, and then just the roost here, because of the speed and the guys are on the gas so hard, it's just really peppering them. And then here we have the Cooper Tires launch or jump or whatever you want to call it.
Taco Bell Hill, but I mean that was back in the old day.
Yeah, back in the old days, they had a building up there that looked like a Taco Bell. They did stucco, which is not a big popular thing up here in the UP.
Right.
But it's the Cooper Tires launch, and these guys are jumping in excess of 150 feet. So it's a different kind of jump. You don't just hit it. It doesn't have a distinctive takeoff. And that is spooky when you're in a truck, because you're going down, coming up to it about 100 miles an hour, and then it just gets low. You can see the measurements, the 100, 150, and 200. If you're landing at 200
flat
as well, I've seen a lot of broken stuff. I've been close to it. Don't want to come that much. I do kind of a scrub, and that's what a lot of the guys do on a bike, where like that tractor's doing a heck of a.
He scrubbed. I mean, I barely saw anything underneath the tires. But one thing, when it was windy this morning, the first thing I thought of when windy, it's not, well, how am I going to handle it today? It was that jump.
Absolutely.
Because when you have that headwind, and it can go both ways. You can get loop out Willie where you can't see a thing and it's going to slam you down. Or if you're a little nose heavy, it could throw you down, and that could be just as bad, because that's the last thing you want to do is one-handed double face auger that thing.
Exactly. And if you just tune in, we talked about this earlier, the tractor driver's not been hitting the sauce, and he's not all the best.
We can neither confirm nor deny that, but he is taking care of business.
But what he's trying to do is he's trying to break up the blue groove so some of the water will start to soak in. He doesn't want to put rippers, and that's typically what you would do if it was a motocross track. Go break that crust, get it deeper, and then blade it up. But here there's so much horsepower and there's so much side load with these 35-inch project tires that you will completely have these giant holes, and then you end up de-beating tires or cutting the sidewalls and things like that. So you want to make it as flat and racy as possible, but you also want to give the drivers options to go in and out, because we saw CJ Greaves in round 7 slide into that wall, and I think that's where that little buckle out there is where CJ kind of moved around. So
he hit it hard, and I did talk to him, and it wasn't just the bumper. Like I know you thought, I think he got the bumper. He did. He put a lot of hurt on that bumper, but he did get that right rear wheel too, and I think it affected the track bar as well. Well, you in every race course, I don't care where it is, it could be a circle track. Turn number 1 is always generally the most important, because you have to start somewhere. Here it's a little different because you have a downhill. Well, you see it at Crandon, but you have a downhill with some good passing areas in the next couple of turns immediately following.
Well, now if you're looking, you see the line where the water truck is directly in front of us. But as you come down in there, it's a giant pendulum turn. You come over the start jump where you can see the TORC start line. The guys are sideways, and it's completely loaded on the right chassis. They're wide open on the gas, and as they let off, it transfers the way back the other way, which in rally terms, and I know a lot of you people that watch know what I'm talking about, but it's called a pendulum turn because the back end pendulums from the far right to the far left, so it kind of presets the vehicle. But when you're passing, you don't want to pull your slide too quick, because you're minimal control on slide into the wall, which I've done before.
I'm thinking of pendulum turn. I'm sitting there thinking about, is that the Scandinavian flick?
It's a Scandinavian, same thing, Robbie.
Same thing, different verbiage.
But I thought I would go with the pendulum because people can visualize how a pendulum swings from one side to the other.
Yep, I agree. And you see it is still a little breezy out there. You see the AMSOIL flags in the background, and you see one of Jeff's workers hauling tail down after that Cooper tire. All right, so that's the little kicker. You talked about yesterday, the outside line, where you're seeing the UTV going through it right now. It's more whooped out on that outside lane, but same thing as far as those jumps are concerned. Generally, you need a face to get lift, but you don't always want lift. You don't want to be jumping.
Well, if I can get back on the ground quicker than the next guy but hit it at the same speed, I'm going to get my wheels back on the ground and driving forward. So that's what you've seen in motocross, which is,
scrub.
James Stewart was not the inventor of it.
Come on now. Surely he was. You never did anything like that.
Yes, I did. But I didn't do it as good as him. I will say he perfected it and did it a lot better than I did. But guys were doing that, pre-jumping, keeping the bike low as much as you can, or dragging the brake off, doing whatever you can to get the vehicle back on the ground so that you're not sacrificing. Because typically if you just come in and let off, you're still going to get the lift. You're just slowing down. So you have to be able to keep that speed and get the vehicle back on the ground as quick as you possibly can. So sometimes you want lift to clear an obstacle. Sometimes you just want to get back on the ground.
I'll tell you something as we look at that finish line, Shep. That's the favorite section of the course if you're the first guy across it on the last lap.
Exactly.
You talk about the scrub and the Bubba scrub. I want to challenge you. If you can ever look back at the 1987 Ponca City show, that's the amateur nationals. There was a kid named Jeremy McGrath in the 125 novice class that just come off of bicycles, and he started to learn how to race motorcycles.
Yep.
And every one of these single jumps, he was throwing it down like BMX.
Right.
He was doing the exact same thing. And Bubba, I think that was a few years before even Bubba made it to a 50. So they've been doing this stuff all along, but it's amazing how what's in vogue now. And you do it more even in cars than we've seen before because you got to go with what works.
Well, and you evolve. You have suspension that's evolved. You have tires that evolved. You have all these different things. If you look back, and I'll be honest with you, you look back in the 70s and 80s, you watch some of the stuff that Marty Tripes was doing back in the day of landing on the front wheel, because you couldn't do it in the late 70s. I know with this TORC off-road show, we're turning it into a motocross show, but a lot of the same techniques are applied here. And so when it comes to speed and getting back on the ground, the drivers have to do everything they can, and that's using the throttle and the brake and the steering. They're not flicking it sideways because you don't want to do that in the middle of a straightaway, but when you're dragging the brake and when you're tapering the throttle.
Oh, Ricky, you're educating me. I mean, I really like it. Kate Osborne, can you educate me just a little bit, or do you have anything more? Has social media been blowing up? Have you met anybody? That man, have you talked to that gentleman back there and know where he's from?
I mean, I've talked to quite a few people, and there's a lot of people from all over here. The crowd is awesome here at Bark River. More importantly, though, I know that all of you at home right now are watching on some technology device, something, computer, TV, phone, whatever it might be. Make sure you find us on social media. Find us, connect with us, talk to us. We're on share it even for that matter. We're on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. TORCseries.com, of course, for all the latest. Hey, trucks are coming out on track. This is something I am stoked for, gentlemen. Are you?
I am, and all the technologicals out there. I hope you're ready for the Pro 4s because they're coming up here in just a bit.
Yeah, I love the technologicals.
The technologicals.
So this is going to be great. We have Chad Horde that's starting on the pole with Ross Hook. Ross Hook has been one of those guys that has been so fast at the beginning. Johnny Greaves broke his finger yesterday with a roost, and Ross actually found the rock, carried it over to him, and showed him.
A little blood splatter.
Yeah, a little blood splatter on the rock, and showed him where he got his boo-boo on his finger.
Johnny, it's your fault. You're throwing too hard of roost.
And we've been talking to Ross. He's looking good, losing some weight, but I said, I figured out how he's losing so much weight. He keeps running over to Johnny Greaves and asking for pointers. So even though Ross got into Johnny a little bit yesterday, so you don't want to be hitting the guy you're asking favors for, but I'm looking forward to that front row running hard this first couple laps.
So you see the field: Chad Horde, Ross Hook, Scott Douglas, Keegan Kincaid, CJ Greaves, Johnny Greaves, Al Drews. The 7 drivers in this Pro 4 race, and Chad Horde able to make the podium at the last round. He's going to start on that inside. Do you want to be on the left or right as you're heading up to that starting green flag?
It's tough because if the guy wants to push you out, which typically a lot of times the guy will do, if the guy's on the left side, he's the pole sitter, he'll work the guy out into the soft fluff so that when he accelerates, that puts him out wider through the left-hander before the right-hander. If he does not do that, that gives the guy on the right side, which is outside pole, because it goes to a left-hand right-hander, puts him on the inside for what we're calling the big turn 1. So it's all about positioning, and right now you got 2 guys that are savvy up front.
A solid track here in Bark River. CJ gave you the lowdown. Ricky, you've turned a lap or two, won a race or two here, but we see Ross Hook on the outside, who's been getting quite a few starts as of late. Next to him is Chad Horde, but this is the pro four-wheel drives that are lining up, ready to go. 3 classes of racing kicking off with the pro four-wheel drives. The biggest and baddest will be first.
All right, we're running the Pro 4s. You see we got a max 440 cubic inch, somewhere between 750 to 900 horsepower, 20 inches of wheel travel, a minimum weight of 4,100 pounds, and then also they have a project tire, 31 inch, and when it comes to wheelbase, very, very close to Pro 2. But the biggest thing here is that these guys run manual transmissions. A couple have automatics, but the guys up front, we have a manual on the outside, which is Ross Hook, and an automatic in Ross Hook and a manual in Chad Horde.
That's right, and Scott Douglas told me for the next round at Redbud, he should have a little special transmission as well. So you see the starting line: Horde, Hook, Scott Douglas on that second row next to Keegan Kincaid, CJ Greaves, Johnny Greaves, Al Drews, and it's go time. Chad Horde with a good jump off the line.
Really loose, and here we see Scott Douglas pushing his way up past there. Ross Hook falling back to third, but Scott Douglas feels like he has what it takes. He just has a ton of little gremlins. Let's see if he can put it together.
Little gremlins, just gremlins galore. I mean, the guy has had bad luck in every round. He actually cut his valve stem at the last round from a rock that got into a wheel that already had protection covering that valve stem. So just freaky things happen. They put even more aluminum around that valve stem today, and he's just ready to have a race with no problems this year.
Well, Johnny Greaves in the previous round said that the roost here was so unbelievable, it was blowing tear-offs. So we talked to some of the other drivers, said 30 tear-offs. So you can imagine the roost that's going on back there with CJ, Johnny, and Keegan.
Chad Horde, again, trying to separate himself from second place, and Scott Douglas doesn't mind it too bad as long as there's nobody putting pressure on him from behind. In third is Ross Hook, still holding on to that spot. The roost is crazy. The track's not going to get any better than it is right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit slippery because where they move the dirt around, and we see Ross Hook has spun around and collected Johnny Greaves. So now we see Ross Hook backing up, and he's trying to get out of the way. Al Drews goes by. We got to throw a shout out to Al. He's here every year.
Yes, he is, and charging hard. He wants to get in there and mix it up with the boys. Looking for Keegan Kincaid as well. Just who's smoking? Is that Johnny or CJ?
It looks like CJ is smoking a little bit. Now, there might have been a couple, as they went by, that could just be fiberglass rubbing on the side. We'll find out in just a moment. So right there, that's CJ in fourth and Johnny in fifth.
The Mutant 33, Johnny in the Monster Energy 22. Chad Horde leads the first completed lap, about a 2-second advantage over Scott Douglas. And yeah, CJ Greaves, he was on quite a roll. I mean, he hadn't won and hadn't lost in like 3 years in the pro four-wheel drives. A pass on the inside. Can Keegan hold on? Again, these are pro four-wheel drives. Oh, Keegan sticks it in there. There's some holes. He's in position, but getting good drive on that outside. Scott Douglas, it's a drag race into this left-hander. Douglas holds on.
Douglas with a great charge from the outside back to the inside, holds it together, but it looks like Keegan's got a couple miles an hour as he looks on the inside.
Driving it in, and Keegan hooked up on that inside. Now he has to shut that door on Douglas, and he does just that.
Well, and it looks, both of these guys are driving with Fortin manual transmissions. It's a sequential box. Keegan has a 5-speed, and Douglas has a 4-speed. So the gear split is a little bit more narrow, but it looks like Keegan is using more of the handbrake or the rear brake to get himself sideways to set up for the corners, and Scott's running a more traditional swing all the way through.
And I call that the chicken brake because I've done so many rental car rallies and that when you just grab the handle and bring that back in around. Keegan Cade has worked his way up. Chad Horde, you see him up in front. Kate Osborne, you have more on Keegan.
After round 7, Keegan Kincaid said his arms were exceptionally sore with that power steering issue in his throttle that was sticking. He said he hasn't really had a race yet, or he hasn't had any issues. He knows his truck is fast, he knows it's set up well, but now he wants to be able to drive it. Maybe this is going to be the first time he feels that he's in control.
And Keegan Kincaid out of Crandon, Wisconsin. That Traxxas Cooper Tire Vision Wheels entry, a new sponsor for him in Vision Wheels, but Yeah, he's been having a lot of problems in that new truck with the power steering. He thinks it was just basically a relief valve that was sticking, and I'm bypassing it. I'm trying to take it out of the picture.
So to kind of explain what exactly that is, as we see CJ Greaves looking at the inside of Scott Douglas. Now he puts him on the far right. He's going to look to shoot up the inside to try to get position as he bumps him a little bit, try to move him off base a little bit. Now his father, Johnny Greaves, in the picture as well.
So tell me about the power steering.
So back to that. It's what he's called is a relief valve, and what happens is it's like a check ball. When it goes one way, it's supposed to, when it gets to a certain pressure, it's supposed to release and then go back to being shut. What happens is it stays open, then all of a sudden the steering becomes lazy because it's working all through all the different orifices, and then next thing you know, it feels like it's locking up.
Boy, look who's working. That's the 33 of CJ Greaves on the inside. Scott still in position. Scott catches a barrier that CJ caught the day before, and that opens the door a little bit for Johnny Greaves. All three of them are fast. That time Douglas just kind of pushed the issue, and he wasn't in a position to push the issue.
Johnny Greaves looking to the inside on two wheels. As I mentioned, that turn is crazy. You're going about 50 miles an hour over the top. As we see Johnny Greaves looking to the outside, Scott Douglas, he might have bent something. He could have hurt something when he hits that. You see cosmetic damage of losing that fender. It doesn't look like he's flattened the tire or anything, so tough break for Scott Douglas, but CJ Greaves with a very strong move to push that inside.
Hey, who's winning this race? Chad Horde.
Chad Horde.
I mean, check him out. Chad Horde is gone. I mean, he's got a 4-second advantage over Keegan Cade and just literally running away. CJ, Johnny worked up. They're still just barely inside, third and fourth.
Right, we're only on the fourth lap, so we still need to see the competition yellow. And back with Chad Horde, who has talked that he's doing a limited schedule this year, and he's a local boy, so he's got to be loving this right now.
Yeah, Lucas Oil and Ponzi on board with him for 2017, and he's had some great finishes here. He's had success, but he's had massive failure. Look to the left. I want you to see this tire right there. He clipped that thing about 3 years ago in one of the worst wrecks I've ever seen.
I don't know if I want to call it clipping or running straight over the top of it and flipping, but Chad Horde doing a great job. It looks like he's got that Lucas Oil entry figured out, doing a great job. It looks smooth, looks fast, and look at the distance that he's put on Keegan Kincaid.
If you're him, do you want to just sit there and keep pulling away, or do you want to kind of conserve things a little bit? We're on lap 5 of 10. We will get the comp caution next.
Well, if you're looking at the interval between him and second, third, and fourth, and so on, he wants to keep hyped up, keep amped up, keep that adrenaline going. You can see how far he's jumping. He's clearing over 150 feet, so you want to keep that going so that you run. The truck is built strong enough, the tires can handle it, everything is ready to go, so he wants to keep that to hopefully motivate, try to take away from those guys that think they're going to chase him down.
Maxxis Tire entry of Chad Horde, Rigid Industries, another sponsor for Felch, Michigan. You actually pass the sign for Felch, just literally a few miles down the road, but this is his backyard track for the most part, even though nobody's been racing on it. It's been too wet to practice here.
Yeah, you wouldn't tell it was too wet by the way it looks, but
look at that.
But you can see, and also, really hard hit coming through there, but I like how this truck is planning. It looks really good.
He does. I mean, he is set up, and he sees the competition caution come out, and look at that differential. Keegan Kincaid is that far behind him, and you see CJ Greaves actually made up some ground on Keegan.
7 seconds that he had on everybody, so great job by Chad Horde. Let's hope he can hold it.
But that big lead of Hordes is no more. When we return, Keegan, CJ, Johnny, Douglas, Drews, look, they all close in. We have the second half of this race when we come back.
Trailblade tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Welcome back to TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. The Toyota Escondido Pace truck leaves, but you notice Keegan Kincaid is not in that group. He just headed into the hot pit. He's trying not to lose a lap. Something's wrong with him, and it's going to be what a run by Chad Horde. The first half of this race, can he hold off the Greaves boys? The second half, and now Keegan pulls back on. Maybe they thought a tire was going down, checked and said, no, pull back out there.
Yeah, sometimes you have to come in and do a double check because you don't want to grenade a motor. These motors are in excess of 50 grand. So Chad Horde doing a great job right now, but defending champion CJ Greaves, who's worked his way up, is right on top of him, and our series point leader Johnny Greaves as well.
Chad Horde only one victory last year in Pro 4-wheel drives. That came at Dallas, Texas, and he would love nothing more than to win here in Bark River. Literally lives just a few miles down the road. Listen to that horsepower. It doesn't sound much better than that.
Well, and I like the tone between the different ones. You got Chad Horde running the high side, using the cushion to his advantage, and he's taking the long way around, which is the fast way. And then you got CJ, who's trying to take a little bit shorter route, but it's not paying off for him right now. If Chad Horde can keep this pace up, these guys are going to have a handful.
Until the last round, CJ Greaves had won the last 4 Pro 4 finals here at Bark River. Kate Osborne, you have more?
Well, interestingly enough, he won those with a truck that wasn't feeling so comfortable. He finally has a truck that he says feels the way it should. That front end is finally better. They made some rear end suspension changes, and that truck finally is turning. Also, he said this whole track is challenging, and that's very unlike CJ Greaves. He doesn't usually say much about the tracks. He said it's like a big snake, and if you mess up one turn, it's going to inevitably have an impact on the next.
And what Kate's referring to is they had some rule changes between 16 and 17. The way that he had to set up changing motors and style, that things just wasn't handling right. It was kind of pushing a little bit at inopportune times. But I think a suspension change made things a little stiffer in the rear, kind of kept it planted more, and he's able to drive it around those turns.
Yeah, Chad Horde running really strong on the outside. CJ is trying to stay out of the roost because, as we see, Johnny Greaves once again looking to the inside and bicycling over the top of that. But notice that CJ is trying to stay the inside out of the roost, and Chad Horde is going a long way around where he can stay in the throttle. Watch CJ look to the inside.
Good run.
But it does not pan out.
I don't know, man. I mean, that doing something different and being that fast, that looked like, I mean, that's an option that he definitely didn't lose time.
Well, this is like gambling. You're walking in with $10 and leaving with 5, so it didn't work. He made a car length coming in and lost 2 coming off, but he has to stay out there. Chad Horde with a small mistake, a little over rotation, and now CJ closes back up.
Chad Horde came back into the series at Crandon. Good to see him in that Lucas Oil Entry number 9. And there's the starting area.
Chad Horde completely changed his line. He's been running the high side all the way around, and that's what I was saying is that you push this cushion up. So
whoa! He saves
bicycle.
it. He's heading right for that concrete barrier. He was on the bike for so long and just could not drive out of it because you see what's to the left.
Exactly, and tough break for Chad Horde. He was on so good, but these things, the hard thing about these manual transmissions is getting him in neutral and getting him in reverse.
Ricky, let's take a look at what happened to Chad Horde. He was out in front and he got in a precarious situation he just couldn't get out of.
Chad coming down where I talked about the pendulum. It's hanging out to the right, then it swings to the left, and as it comes around, it starts to dig, and then bicycles. He stays on the gas, saves it, turns into it, but then here comes the wall, and bam, he stops it. So hopefully he didn't blow the front corner off of that.
And that scenario when he's heading downhill, it looked like he just charged a little too hard into that right-hander that particular time, and when he threw it there, he's like, uh-oh, I got into the thick stuff.
Well, let's go back to what Kate was saying, what CJ was talking about, is that you have to be planning one turn to the next turn, and that what it did is it bit him. He charged a little bit too hard, and when the pendulum swung, it brought it back and threw him onto a bicycle. So you have to kind of keep it a little bit more tidy, a little more tidy than you think. What I mean by tidy is not let the back end out too far.
6 rounds completed in Pro 4-wheel drives in the 2017 campaign. Johnny Greaves, the series points leader, has won 3. CJ Greaves, in second in points, has won 3 as well. Who's going to break the tie? Which one of these guys, or will it be somebody else? Because, you know, they've been known to bump even into each other like we saw at Crandon.
Well, and then I talked to Johnny about that before the race. I said, your son publicly said, hey, and Johnny Greaves with a flat tire. Johnny Greaves with a right rear flat. So that is going to take him out of the picture. And CJ Right now, all he has to worry about is Keegan Kincaid, who is now working his way up.
He's throwing it left and right. That's like an absolute grenade on that right-hand side. And how long can he drive on those 3 tires or 3 wheels? We've seen it before. And now Keegan's close into second. Keegan over-rotates just a little bit. Yeah, something happened with that right rear of Johnny, and you can't get away from it now. Is this a situation if you have to figure out, can I just limp around and make it, or do you go ahead and pull over and try and make that tire change?
You can see the inner liner. It's going to look like a little donut around there, so it's like a really heavy inner tube, and he'll end up driving on that. That's what's holding it up, and so he's able to keep driving this, not down to the steel rim. We see Scott Douglas coming into the picture, so he wants to keep going if he can and not lose those valuable points, because he is our points leader. He wants to lose as little as possible to CJ.
CJ, 6 points in the rears of Johnny. That would be, what, 3 different positions, so difference between first and fourth, and you'd have a virtual tie in the championship points as it stands right now with 2 laps to go. CJ Greaves out in front, Keegan Kincaid in second, Johnny Greaves in third, Scott Douglas working his way up fourth, Chad Horde in fifth, even with that big bobble, but he's down a long ways.
Right, white flag is out for CJ. Second place, Keegan Kincaid. If Johnny can hang on to it, he's going to try, and you know Scott Douglas is going to come after him. So you know that Johnny is not going to come in. He's going to keep fighting.
CJ Greaves, the 22-year-old out of Abrams, Wisconsin, Monster Energy, Maxxis Tire Toyota, Potawatomi Method Wheels, and the defending Pro 4 champion, I might add, and defending Pro 2 champion. So, I mean, this kid can get it done, and he's already won 1 race today in the Pro Stock UTVs, and the kid's solid.
And if you happen to look back at that, I love what he's doing, that he's trying different techniques. He's going through the big sweeper, using the brake, and now we're watching Johnny Greaves flipping back and forth, back up front to CJ Greaves, but what he's doing is he's using the brake and using it to push a little bit, driving a little bit of understeer instead of just oversteer.
Mutant Soda on the side of his truck, Vision on the side of Keegan Kincaid, and Keegan, he didn't wait too long, but he's just not going to have enough time to make this pass unless CJ does something out of character.
Yeah, so CJ doing a great job today, and also Keegan. You know, it's unfortunate that he had to go in, whatever that was, but it's great to see him running as fast as he is.
So unfortunately, Keegan Kincaid had to pull in. I thought it was a safety issue, but it's going to be CJ Greaves with a victory ahead of Keegan Kincaid. Evidently, he had a window net issue. If that thing goes down, you have to pull it in, have to fix it, and that may have cost him the race. But the man who won the race is CJ Greaves, and he's going to make up valuable points on his father, who will finish fourth just behind Scott Douglas.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Additives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver, and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Additives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by AMSOIL, devoted to protection, and by Cooper Tires. We make tires for people, not just cars.
As we're in the break between Pro 4s and our next race, let's take a look at what happened to Chad Horde earlier in this race. He was out in front until this. Going into that right-hand turn, I think he just threw it in so hard. Look at all that thick roost. And when he's on 2 and you're in the thick stuff and there's a wall on your outside, you go, uh-oh.
But it was a great save. He got up on the bicycle and throttled all the way through.
And Johnny Greaves, the explosion with his right rear.
Did you see the tire start to disintegrate and come apart? it's throwing hunks of tire over 100 feet in the air. It's crazy, but Johnny just stays on it and runs hard. Now, if you're in a two-wheel drive, it'd be a little more difficult. But as you can see, Keegan Kincaid is able to slip across the inside, and Johnny does a great job hanging onto it.
Easy for you to say. And you see that blue groove on that inside, but really not a bunch of it. I mean, the track is holding up fairly well. We still have pro lights, pro two-wheel drives.
And see, what they're doing is they're pulling the dirt from the outside back to the inside. So they'll throw some water down. They'll double blade it. Want to thank people from Caterpillar, or actually John Deere. My bad.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them.
There's a cat back there. There's a deer there.
We got equipment all over the place.
Speaking of the deer, be careful driving home, man. Them suckers are everywhere up here.
Yeah, I've hit one. I actually, was after the first time I ever tried it, and I thought maybe they heard about that I'm a cannibal, and they came after me. But
what did that deer do to you that you had to hit it?
Well, I ate his brother.
Oh, that's wrong.
But anyhow, they're bringing the dirt from the outside, bringing it to the inside, trying to reestablish that cushion. But it's got to be a great job, a happy day for Scott Douglas on the podium.
Welcome back to TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. The Pro 4-wheel drives are complete, and CJ Greaves takes his 4th win of the 2017 season, and it moves him back into a tie for the points lead and defending his Pro 4 title. There he is, CJ Greaves, the Monster Energy winner.
He's back on top, and actually he had to work his way to get on top here. You actually just made a point to say there was something specifically that was hard about that race. What was it?
Yeah, the track was super weird today. It was real blue groove, full of lots of holes, and it was hard to make a difference. I mean, it's like you could make a mistake, and the guy behind you could run a perfect line, and it didn't seem to really matter. Or you could be chasing someone, they could make a mistake, and you could run the perfect line, and it didn't really matter. So it was hard. It was hard to make passes, but it really just came down to who made the least amount of mistakes, I think. And Chad was running great. I mean, he was, I think, a man on a mission today, and got up on the bike and just handed that one to me. So we knew if we stayed there, kept the pressure on, hopefully we could push him into a mistake. But really couldn't do it without everyone from Toyota. They put killer engines in these things. Monster Energy, Toyota, Mutant Soda, Method Race Wheels, Maxxis Tires, Fox Shocks, all my crew, my family, everyone that comes out here to support us. We love being here at Bark River.
Another example of how any given racer can win really on any given day.
And you see the smile on CJ's face. He's back to his winning ways, not only here at Bark River, but in TORC 2017. As you see the unofficial results as it stands right now. But the point of interest is Keegan Kincaid, the number 2 driver of the Vision Wheels entry. What if he wouldn't have pulled in when he was, in second place behind Chad Ord? If he wouldn't have pulled in, what if? Could he have won the Pro 4 here today? We're about to find out. Kate?
Yeah, I think that the big question, Keegan, here today is, had you not pulled into the hot pit there, do you think you could have taken it?
Yeah, we were fast. This truck was on rails. My team's put in a lot of work, and we've had a lot of things go wrong, and still a little bad luck with the window net coming down, and just making us challenge and work for it. And it's good. I like a little challenge, and we'll be up on the top spot. I think we had them there, and we were saving it a little bit towards the second half of the race where Chad got away a little bit, and we had something for him, and we got a little bit stuck behind some traffic in the second half, and we couldn't be happier with the second place. I think we got fast lap and pretty close to it, and it's good for my team and myself and AMSOIL, Vision Wheels, Traxxas. Everybody that's been behind me is pushing me, and we'll be up there soon enough.
Happy with second, but that first will definitely be sweet when it happens for Keegan Kincaid.
You're right, Kate, and he did have the fastest lap of the race. That was on lap number 8 of 1:17.94. But look at the points. Things tightened up. Ricky Johnson, 163. We've got a tie, and Keegan still only 12 points behind, and we're, right at the halfway point.
We got us a race for the championship. All that work, and you start back over at 0. So both the Greaves trucks running 1 and 2. Keegan looking not too far back, only 12 points, so anything can happen.
Let's go down to Kate, who's with Scott Douglas. He finally makes the podium. He has bad luck the entire series until finally today he makes it back to the box.
Yeah, Robbie, and actually he said he's actually really excited about this third, proving something with that. What statement are you making knowing that you're on the box?
Well, I mean, we're here, and I mean, we're used to be on the box a lot, but lately it hasn't been there. But I'm just happy for for all the crew. They work so hard on this truck, and Amsoil, and Rusty's Off-Road, Walker Evans Racing, and the Cooper tires worked real good. I was just real aggressive. I didn't care if I crashed a truck or what. In the first 3 laps, I mean, the thing just felt so good and so hooked up. And I just felt like all I got to do is clean up a few turns and I can get Chad. And then all of a sudden I just started falling away and falling back. And I don't know if the front drive was slipping or whatever. We got a clutch in the front and what it was, but just slowly started slipping and these guys going by and it started getting frustrated. And pretty soon I'm just going, my spotter's going, just stay in there, stay in it, go, and we're just, finally I got myself a little calmed down and didn't do as much wheel spin and started making a little time up. And here we are on the podium. So pretty happy about it.
Scott Douglas, 3rd place here in Pro 4.
Coming up next, the Pro Light Division, and boy, this is always exciting. You never know who's going to win, but there has been one man who has been extremely strong. He's on quite a roll, and he lives right down the road. His name is Kyle Kleiman. Can he keep the streak going here at Bark River?
When it comes to protecting your engine, Amsoil offers the next level performance truck owners demand. Amsoil provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. Amsoil, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter. So count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
As the course workers taking care of business, the water truck's out. Actually got loaders out. They're bringing dirt in from other parts of the track out there trying to help out that right-hand turn after that big Cooper tire launch. They're throwing so much dirt with that high horsepower, they're throwing that dirt off of the track. They're having to bring it back to the track. You see them trying to water it here. The sun is out, bluebird skies. It's a cool start. Things have warmed up, and things have definitely fired up on the track as we get ready for the Pro Light Division here. The throwdown in the UP. It's hard for me to say. I keep seeing so many people throw up in the UP sometimes here partying at night. I have a hard time with the throwdown.
Yeah, another hotel, another buffet. This morning hit the cereal buffet a little bit. Did you do Fruit Loops or what did you do? Raisin Bran?
I worked out and had some cereal.
Yeah,
every morning I do it. Yeah, the wife leaves, she goes, and I get a nice workout at home. I mean, she wasn't here with me here, but I do it at home.
Right, but it's special when you're away from home. Get that alone time and stuff. You're homesick, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, she's there.
She's there.
Yeah.
She's there.
I got a mental picture like nobody's business, Ricky. Look at the work. I mean, they're really churning up some dirt here. I think they're really trying to turn it over.
Well, but what's great is look at how wet it is underneath, because it's been so wet up here for so many months that the dirt, the water's there. It gets that shine across the top, and then it becomes blue groove. So it's great that even though we only have 2 more races to go, that they're working the track, because now we're going to the 2-wheel drive trucks with the Pro Lights and the Pro 2s. You need a little bit more traction to hang on to it. So I'm grateful to see how much pride that the Bark River crew is taking in this track.
I'm curious to see in the Pro Lights what can happen with Andrew Carlson, to see if he can kind of turn things around in the Pro Light after such a strong finish in the Pro 2-wheel drive. But first we're going to send it over to Kate Osborne. What special guest do you have, Kate?
Well, I have a guy who definitely had a fast truck out there, definitely had put it together in the cockpit, but unfortunately wasn't able to pull it off because of an incident. Chad, is there anything else you could have done differently?
You know, I don't know. Just the way I charged down into that turn, I knew CJ was behind me. I knew those guys were fast. I just wanted to check out, but as I came in the corner and started to rotate the truck, I think once I rolled on the gas and the locker kicked in, it hiked up. But yeah, you can see me coming in here. I'm off the gas. The truck goes into two-wheel drive. I go to roll back on the gas, and there it starts to go. And just all I could do was save it. And you know, after that, what do you do? But just, you know, it sucks. The Lucas Oil Ponzi Max's truck was super fast. We showed it to these guys, and we're gonna go prep it in a couple days here. We're headed for Wheatland, so to hit another race. So I'm really happy with how the truck is. My crew did a great job.
We're hoping to see you again in one of these other races. We know that beginning of the season you had a chance to watch a few, learn what was going on. What's your takeaway now in the middle of the season?
Well, I think we're in a good spot. You know, these guys are going to be racing through the season. I'm going to be watching them, and we're going to be twisting and tuning on this thing and getting it ready for fall Crandon. We'll be a thorn in their side again.
I'm sure he will. Chad Horde, guys.
Thanks, Cade. Yeah, he will definitely be a thorn in your side. He said something. What did he say? There was something I wanted to – I want to think about that. Oh, as hard as he hit that concrete deal. I talked about, you know, pushing your foot through the firewall. I raced cars after I got out of motocross for a while on dirt track ovals. When you head into a wall like that, I mean, the hands, you press to the steering wheel, the feet, I mean, you push on as much brake, and there's nothing there, and that is one of the worst feelings ever.
Well, because you haven't crashed that many times. Usually you learn
straight into the wall.
Well, watch Danica Patrick. She lets go of the steering wheel and hangs onto her belt. She's done that a few times.
But she doesn't.
And I'm not bagging on Danica. Don't get me wrong. She's a driver. No, but after you've crashed a couple times, you realize that you putting your arms out, you're not going to do any good or push it on the. All it takes is one time to break your leg or something like that, or smash your foot, and you get the heck out the way.
I blow my quad out either, but that's what I was talking about, is heading into it. When you glance off of it, it's just part of it. You crash, but when you head into it, you know, more nose in, you just like, air brakes and activate.
Well, and that's the thing. As you can see, as he goes up, it actually hikes up on two wheels, and then as it comes back, he sees the wall coming, so you jam the brakes as hard as you can. So you're really not trying to brace it. You're just trying to stop it. You're doing everything you can to try to stop it, and when you hit. But he's got to be proud of his performance. It wasn't a gimme. He was actually pulling CJ. He was taking about a half a car length per lap. So great job by Chad Horde.
Yes, it was. And you know, his other job, I think he deals with lumber a lot, and who better to deal with lumber or the trees that make the lumber than Ponzi? I think they're one of his sponsors, and let's take a look at this.
Ponsse is a family-owned company, and all the Ponsse machines are made in Finland. Sponsoring TORC and Crandon racetrack just makes perfect sense, because logging is just like off-road racing. We play with the dirt.
You know, the Pro 4 class, there's a lot of mechanical things going on, and everything's got to be just perfect to go win races. You know, in my logging business, we strive for the same. I run a Ponzi Scorpion, and I also have a Ponzi six-wheel Ergo. In the off-road racing world here, Ponzi's a big family, just like they are with their equipment. They're not just a dealer.
With all the loggers and all the companies that provide us with this machinery, it's one big family. It's within the community. You take our race trucks, and they got to be dependable on the track, you know, for only a short period of time. But when you jump in one of these machines, they have to last a lifetime, and you know, Ponzi provides that for us.
The Ponzi forestry equipment, I mean, it's the best out there. It's second to none.
Running those trucks in a racetrack, they get enormous amount of beating.
They take a beating, that's for sure. They keep on ticking, you know.
I think I've got the coolest job in the world. During the day, I'm running a Ponzi Scorpion, and on the weekends, I'm running a Ponzi race truck.
These racetrack drivers, they are part of our family, and they are also our customers.
Ponzi, a big part of the Upper Peninsula, and you can see why. A lot of trees, Ricky Johnson, in the neighborhood.
Can't see the trees for the forest or the forest for the trees. I don't know what it is, but it's amazing. If you get a chance to go online and check out the Ponzi website, is how fast that thing will reach in, cut the tree, debark it, chop it in a certain length and you have to stack it. So it as Chad says, it looks like a fun, big time tractor stuff.
We're going to go to break, and during this break, I'm going to go cut down a tree with one of those pieces of Ponzi equipment. Stick with us, and we'll see how I do after this.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged Radios, the authority in communications.
Herd thinning out just a bit because it's been a long day here at Bark River. Seems like it stays light forever. Got through it about 8 p.m. yesterday on our TV side of things. And they start this morning.
Yeah, they get snacks, a couple beverages.
Yeah.
And you can get yourself a fancy beverage cup when you come to Bark River. It's got all the different sponsors on it.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I'll give you a little sip. And all the cool TORC gear. You can get right behind there. Grab yourself a shirt. Got the Racing Dirty folks. We got the Rugged Radios guys over there. It's pretty awesome. It's a lot of cool stuff going on. And you can see it's just a beautiful summer day out here in the Upper Peninsula.
Throw down in the UP, Robbie Floyd. He's Ricky Johnson, RJZ, as I like to call him. Kate Osborne's been down
Since
track.
When did you start calling me that?
I did it the other day.
Just now?
Instead of RJ, it's RJZ. That would be your hip-hop name.
Thank you.
All right, Ricky. Pro Light's coming up. What is going to stop the Kyle Kleiman train? We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races, and he's won the last 5.
Yeah, well, what's gonna have to take him out because they're inverting the top 6, and so he will.
Position's going to do it. You think
the position? Yeah, is definitely going to be what it is. And if he gets caught up in this first turn, so we've seen a lot happen down there. So he's going to be surrounded by a lot of his competitors that are going for a championship. For his brother, I talked to Cody this morning and said, "What's going to take to take your brother out?" And he says, "Well, I'm chasing him. I'm going after him." So he's looking for his win.
He had his best finish ever yesterday at the last round.
And he drove fantastic. I'm not taking anything away from him. He got beat by his brother, who happens to be the guy who's dominating Pro Light right now and doing a great job. So, but what impresses me most about Kyle is that his patience. He seems to know where he's at, when he's at, and when he needs to make his move. There's no desperation in his driving.
Yeah, and he has that nice setup. I mean, when the truck does what you want it to do, and we know he has a good motor. He proved that last year. I mean, he was getting good starts, good whole shots, strong motor, an excellent setup, and then you just have to work on your mental side and putting it where it's supposed to be. Yeah, he's got a pretty strong package right now.
And then the other question is about Andrew Carlson. Obviously, he had a bad showing yesterday in Pro Light, wasn't happy. And is the Pro 2 hurting him? Because you drive it completely different. Your cadence of how you roll on the gas, how hard you can hit the jumps and stuff like that. So does that help him or did that hurt him?
Well, this will be the first time that he's actually went from one to the other, and he's not doing it necessarily in the same day as in coming out of the 2, getting into the light. But, yeah, that Pro 2, that's really the first time he had driven it in a racing situation. He had been out in front, but, yeah, the guy to look for, Andrew Carlson, the 151, he's going to start in 3rd. He sits 4th in points, but, only, about 4 points behind Cam Reimers, who is 2nd in points. But this is a Kyle Kleiman show. 141 points this year. Second closest, 112.
Yeah. Well,
there he is, the 42, the Ponzi entry. His brother will be the 48. They look very similar. And you notice the 44, that's Brad Sievers out of Rib Lake, Wisconsin. That's the loaner truck. It's a ride and drive program that he's got. That was Cody's truck from last year that he's out there. He said it's just sitting there. Somebody else can enjoy it.
Yeah. So what's great about that family is that the climb is that they're here to help people as well. And this is a big family up here. But when the green flag drops, the gloves come off. It's just like a hockey fight. Anything can happen. But right now you got some guys that are aggressive and that want to be up there. And I talked with Sean Morris, and he said the gloves are off. Him and Cam Reimers got into it a little bit yesterday, bumping and banging when Chad had the smoke screen going, doing what he could to hold on to it. But he had to change his motor. So look for everybody. Everyone wants to win here, and right now the track looks awesome.
Welcome back to the Upper Peninsula. We're in Park River, Michigan for stop number 8 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. You've seen the Pro 4-wheel drives. Now it's time for the Pro Lights. Lesser suspension, DOT tires, lesser motor, but these guys bang. And this is going to be exciting, and especially when you see the guy who sits in 6th as they line up to the starting line. As you see the class description for the Pro Lights, only about 450 horsepower, a little less than half of what we've seen for the Pro 4s. But Kyle Kleiman starts in 6th place. That's because they inverted the start. He's a series points leader. That's him in that yellow truck on that 3rd row. Chad Rayford and Cody Kleiman will set the pace.
Chad Rayford has been spectacular. Also, we see Andrew Carlson, Sean Morris, also Cam Reimers, and also Kyle Kleiman. So, and in the bat, Matt is just bringing it up.
Rayford's been a good starter. He's out in front. He'll set the pace on pole. Cody Kleiman, his best finish ever, a 2nd in the last round, number 48 on his outside. His brother is back 2 rows behind him in the 42. Watch this start. This could get interesting into this left and even more so into the right. Whoa, somebody's way wide there. Andrew Carlson on the outside trying to drive around Cody Kleiman. Now he's on the inside again. Carlson wins Pro 2-wheel drive in the last round, and now he's looking pretty good in the Pro Lights. He moves into 2nd.
He forces his way up into 2nd place. He got position on Cody Kleiman, and then he did not want to give it up. He didn't run the inside. As you see, he gets a little bit loose trying to open up the outside for Cody, but right now it's all about Chad Rayford.
And Cody Kleiman is going to be set up on his inside, that right-hand turn, a long straightaway. Look at the race for 2nd. It's almost 3 wide as Chad Rayford's trying to check out of that kid, number 29 out of Appleton, Wisconsin.
Cody Kleiman is able to get back past Andrew Carlson, but now we see Sean Morris working his way on the inside of Carlson, but Cody Kleiman with a great job fighting back.
And that happened from the right-hander going over that hill where he set him up and was finally able to keep all that momentum going down that straightaway.
Andrew, when he went over the finish line, was far off to the left, so it opened it up a little bit too much, and Cody was able to hit the inside.
Sean Morris, look at him starting to stick a nose in there. Oh, he catches the inside. Morris, that'll push him wide. He's going to have to come back. Oh, he is swapping left and right, and he rolls over on his lid, gets back on the wheels. Kenda Tire 27 takes off like nothing's happened.
Starting back over. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at Sean Morris.
Let's do this
laughing
again.
with him. But you gotta love the commitment. As soon as it lands, there's no hesitation. Back on the gas. Leprechaun didn't even mess up a body panel. As we watch him come through here, he gets sideways, he hits the outside, he bounces back the other way, comes back around because it's wet, hooks up, he's on the gas, doesn't hold, hits the edge, back on the wheels, and go.
He knew with that rotation there was a good shot he was going to land back on his wheels, and the Marine never gives up, and he's back out there on all fours. Kate Osborne, you have more?
Well, one of the things that Sean Morris had a problem with in round 7 was the visibility. Of course, all these guys are dealing with it. He did say he's trying something new. He is actually going to put a new filter over that radiator, just like an air filter that you would do over an air filter. That is something that he feels is a little trick that he's going to try and see if it helps for keeping those cooling issues down.
Okay.
Well, the question is the mud going to pack the filter, or if you use, a lot of times some guys will even use wow, Cody Kleiman just eating that. Holy mackerel. But back to that, some of the guys, what they would use is like a pantyhose or something like that to keep the dirt off. But if we see Andrew Carlson going around.
No, that's our leader. That's our points leader. Kyle Kleiman wide, and he just turned that thing into a 4-wheel drive for a second.
Well, what happened was Andrew Carlson. Now something. No, it's not the hot pit. He's pulling off.
He might keep pulling into that hot pit. It's extended from this area. Something's not right.
So watching at the replay, watch Andrew Carlson as he comes in. We see Cody Kleiman very square. Andrew Carlson, as he starts to come around, gets really loose. Kyle Kleiman is right there, but Andrew Carlson hits the wall, and then he goes around.
Kyle was gone.
Actually, Kyle did it all on his own. I take that back. There was not Andrew Carlson hit the wall, but Kyle just bounced around. But now, as you see, he doesn't get back on the course.
There shouldn't have been anything wrong, you would think, with just that little spin out. I can't believe he went right into the face of that wall. They have reverse in those trucks, don't they?
Absolutely, but what I think could have happened is something broken an axle. We could have seen anything, but now we're watching Kyle Kleiman. They're looking up in there. They're probably looking at the steering. They're up towards the front, wondering what's going on. So tough break, and the winning streak is not going to continue for Kyle Kleiman.
No, and he's still gonna have the championship points lead because he had more than a 25-point advantage, but he's gonna lose a massive chunk, and they just said shut her off. His day's done.
Yep, the universal sign of the chop on the throat means cut it off, you're done. So we'll find out what happened, but Cody Kleiman right now is chasing down Chad Rayford.
Cody trying for his first win. Chad Rayford in the 29, he's been out in front. Can he go out there and just prove to everyone that he's got what it takes in the Kinder Tire truck? We've seen his teammate Sean Morris on his lid over there in that section, and Rayford started out in front. It's everybody else's job to get by him. How would it be for the Kleimans for Kyle to win the first day and Cody to win the second? That would be a father and a mother's dream.
You'd want to drive around Bark River for the next 6 months in a convertible, waving at everybody, because you are the men, not the man, you're the men. And here we see, I like the way Cody's using the inside and the outside, looking for different ways. He's trying different lines. But Chad, I'm not taking anything away from Chad Rayford. He's doing a great job right now.
And Chad Rayford's finished second twice this year. But Cody got his best finish of his life. At the last round, finished second. Kate Osborne, you have more?
One thing to note about Chad Rayford was during round 7, his truck went away as that track went away. That was when he started pushing in the corners. He slid and then he knocked it to Sean. Well, that is something to take note about as this track starts to deteriorate a little bit to see if his truck can hang on. Round 7 was the first time that Chad Rayford actually had ever competed at Bark River as well, so he says another challenge that he's up against is that he's learning this track. Meanwhile, you have Cody Kleiman right behind him, a guy that has quite a bit more confidence than we have ever seen him, pushing him and see if he can put that pressure on him.
Oh, and nose heavy that time. And yeah, Chad Rayford finished 7th at the last round, and he's doing much better here.
Chad Rayford really high on
there you go.
He makes a mistake, and now Cody looks to the inside, going to work him out a little bit, but Chad does a great job, gets a hold of the cushion and holds on to that lead.
Man, what a move, and he had to take it back, and he got so much door. It wasn't like nose into door. You have to give him that little up tap, and it really didn't upset Rayford at all.
No, and Cody wasn't doing anything dirty, folks. That's part of racing. That's good, clean racing. Here he's trying to loosen him up, trying to get a hold of that back bumper a little bit, and that's part of it. And Chad Rayford is one of those guys that will bounce back.
One more lap to go, and then we'll see the competition caution come out. Again, this is a race to the halfway point after this left-hander, and you see Cody really setting up in that little double. Both of them opting to take that big kicker. Next time around, they will get the competition caution. Chad Rayford started in front, Avenue, Wisconsin, Kinder Tires, Amsoil, Flying Dutchman, off-road, Amsoil entry. I like Cody just trying something new. He knows he's going to get the comp caution. He knows he's going to start. Let's see what this inside's like at least once before somebody's on his tail.
Oh, and Chad Rayford with a little bicycle. Cody with the same thing, but pulls in about one truck length on him. But he's going to want to clean up the doubles after the big Cooper Tires jump. So that's where we're watching, seeing Cody set this up. If he can get off here and get through these doubles clean, he could make the pass.
Cody had a good line back there in second and just behind. And I know you think differently because of all the roosts and everything, but in talking with Johnny Greaves before, he likes being in a position in second, I guess, as long as you're not in that roost, because you can kind of do something a little more underneath, especially in this kind of area. You're leaving too much inside, Chad Rayford, and if Cody Kleiman can get the drive, he's going to take over the lead. Just about a half a truck, he gets into that left rear. But he's set up here, though. Look, he's going to square it up. We've got to have more contact.
Chad Rayford looks at it, but tries to hold the line down, trying to pass him back on the inside. But this puts Cody in a good position. Watch for Chad to shoot underneath.
He squares it up. The Kinder Tire entry going to the inside. Both of them over that double. Again, they're coming to take the cross flags, the halfway point. Cody Kleiman has never won before. He's halfway there. 5 laps down, 5 more to go. Cody Kleiman, Chad Rayford, Cam Reimers. We haven't even said a word about Cam and that liquid wrench entry, and now he's going to start nose to tail with Chad Rayford. as we see Andrew Carlson, just like in previous rounds, the Pro Light is just not getting it done. Stick with us.
Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Toyota Vescandido Pace vehicle as you see them crest that Cooper Tire launch. Good crowd over there as well. As they'll make this right-hand turn and the left-hand big sweeper. Look at the lineup. Kyle Kleiman out of the picture. His brother Cody is in front. Chad Rayford is second. Cam Reimers definitely going to be a factor in this race. Had a mosquito fogger yesterday. He'd lost all his water. He was smoking. I mean, littering the area with that white smoke. Had to change motors overnight. They came in at like 4 o'clock this morning, and he's out there in third, and he sees those two guys in front of him, and I know Cam knows that he can win this race. Now it's up to him to do it.
Yeah, he's got to work his way up there. But how strong is that motor compared to his race motor that he had yesterday?
He said it was the same. He said it was the same. All right, nose to tail. Sean Morris still in the mix. He's already done a rollover. We also see Matt Sorek in there in fourth. Green means go. Chad Raymer starting to get some pressure for Cam Reimers now. Look at that race for second and into the door just a bit, getting on two wheels. Now it's Reimers. It spins around. Everybody going around. Sean Morris. At least he's not on his lid, but he just loses more ground.
Little stats for you folks. That was Sean Morris's 27th rollover.
So where are you pulling this out of?
Well, I want to thank our producer for that. He just threw that in my ear. But Cody Kleiman was completely backwards, and he saved it. Everybody was bumping and banging, but right now Cody Kleiman is picking up where he left off. So great job by this young driver.
That's everything that he wanted, isn't it, Ricky? I mean, he wanted that little launch. Now he can run those race lines, not defensive line.
Well, and this isn't the first time he's been out front. Yesterday he was leading and doing a great job. So he just needs to put laps in and not think about the finish right now. Just think about every turn.
Andrew Carlson is back and still off the track. Is that Matt Sorek?
Yep.
That's in fourth now, and that would be a strong finish for him. Sorek, his best finish this year so far, the first Crandon, he finished fifth there.
Cody Kleiman doing a great job. He's using a great combination. What I like is how well the track is. You saw they did a lot of tractor work and bringing up the wet dirt from underneath. And right now, Cody Kleiman is using a great combination of right here, using the cushion, and coming across using the blue group, not going too far out. So great job. And it's also a tire war between the different guys. You know, we got Cody that's on Maxxis, and then we also have Chad Rayford on Kenda.
Yep, and you have Atturo Tires of Andrew Carlson, Cooper Tires of Cam Reimers. Reimers trying to get in there. You see him on the 21. Matt Sorek in third now. I mean, this would be an incredible story if he can hold on to that spot. Get a little push there, so Reimers going to be underneath. Not able to make the pass just yet.
But great job by Matt Sorek. He looks like he's really finding his rhythm. He's hanging in there with Chad Rayford, so it's great to see him up front.
You see these three guys, second, third, and fourth, just going at a little bit of separation between the two, but you don't see Cody Kleiman. He's starting to pull away, and I talked to him earlier, and you could see the enthusiasm. Kate had mentioned it, how you see he's got confidence. And winning will do that to you, won't it, Ricky?
Confidence is a strange animal, and this is going to make him a different driver. Whatever happens, I don't care that his brother is out of the race or whatever. He physically worked his way up to the front, and now he's pulling away. So a good job by that young man, but it's going to make him a different animal for the next race.
Let's send it to Kate Osborne.
We are talking about this confidence. One thing he told me earlier today was he's trusting in himself, and he's now also trusting in that truck. He knows he can push it further, and that's exactly what we're seeing out of Cody Kleiman.
Lap 7 of 10. It looks to me he might have lost a little ground that last lap as well. Rayford might have, put in a little harder charge there. The fastest lap of the race, Cam Reimer's a 1:26.54. Reimer's still in fourth, trying to get by Matt Sorek.
But I'm watching Cody right now, and he's being very patient. He's not overdriving. He's not underdriving. It looks like that he's just trying to hit his mark, as they say, hitting qualifying lines. As we see Cam Reimer up and high doing a rail slide and getting her done. Now Cam Reimer's up to third place.
Yeah, Reimer's in third. He had the extended track portion right there. Sorek get a little over rotation, and here comes Sean Morris trying to get back in the picture. Sean Morris on his Kenda Tire entry. In there in the fifth spot, but he's closed in on Matt Sorek fast.
Never giving up, never giving up.
Getting dry, getting dusty. There's still the Pro 2-wheel drives after this race as well. Who was that was wide? Was that Rayford that was that wide? If it is, I don't think that really helped his chances of catching up to Cody Kleiman.
Oh, and then we see Chad, we see, I'm sorry, that's Cam Reimer's. Something going on with him. He went very wide. He's trying to stay out of the other drivers.
He went from third to fifth instantly.
Yep.
Liquid wrench entry, not having a good day to Potawatomi truck. And again, that was a new motor. Well, he said he thought it was just as strong, but they changed it. They changed the transmission. As you see the space between first, second, third, and fourth. But he changed the engine, the transmission, all that drive line. There's always a lot of what ifs.
Exactly. And this morning they only gave him one lap to shake the vehicle down, so there really wasn't time to find out if anything was going to leak or break. So tough break for Cam Reimers.
Fastest lap of the race, Sean Morris. That last time around, Sean Morris, who's moving up through the field, I don't know, it might be enough time for him to make the podium, but look at the 48, nobody in the same picture. Cody Kleiman, he knows he's just got a couple of more laps. Green means going, and then this time, when you've never won before, I know, Ricky, it's been a long time for you whenever you won your first race, but to win that first race, you have to go, come on, laps, be done. I want to see white, I want to see checkered.
Well, one of my first races, when I got a hole shot, I was like, man, I wish the checkered flag would come out on lap 2. But right now, Sean Morris has done his flip, worked his way all the way back up to third, a podium position, so this is the equivalent of a win.
And he's closing in on Chad Rayford in second. And these are two guys pitting out of the same tent, right next to each other, both on Kenda tires. Cody Kleiman, we talk about using the Maxxis tires on his Ponzi entry, but yeah, Sean sees Chad in front of him. Whoa, and Sean, oh, this is not going to be good. What a save. And he's still in third. There goes Matt Sorek. Sorek's got to turn left, and I think Sean's going to hold on to his spot.
Exactly. So as you see Sean Morris push him out, but it's Cody Kleiman right now with about a 10-car truck length lead. So great job by him. He is not faltering. He's just running lap after lap. Good job.
You know his spotter has to be in his ear. Just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, what do you tell a guy that's just begging for this checkered flag to come out? Keep doing what you're doing. Stay away from those holes. These are DOT tires as well.
Watching Sean coming in after here. He comes in and he throws it out, and watch the left rear catch, and up on the bicycle he goes, but he turns into it, throttle down and turn in, and then he just tries not to hit the wall. Right before he hits it, he hits the gas, turns, and maintains third place.
Here in the 450 or so horsepower, the Pro Light leader right now, Cody Kleiman, on the last lap. His best finish in TORC was at the last round. He finished second. He was getting emotional on that in that winner's interview, or the second place interview. What will he be doing if he takes the victory today?
Well, remember when you were 10 years old how long Christmas Eve seemed? This lap is twice as long as that. You're hearing all the gremlins. You're like, don't make a mistake. I got to get to that finish line. But you just have to stay present and drive every turn, and don't get your vision or your thoughts too far out of the present.
25-year-old Cody Kleiman. He's been watching his brother take win after win after win. He finally makes it up into the number 2 spot, his best finish ever, and he's literally 3 turns away from getting his first ever Pro Light victory. And to do it here when your backyard's right around the corner has to be even more special.
Yeah, and the president of Podium was here. He got to go out and go for a ride in the TORC truck. So great day for the Kleinmans and also Podium.
Wilson, Michigan is right down the road, and you've got a new champion in TORC in your backyard. Cody Kleinman takes the Ponzi entry into the victory circle for the very first time. What a race. He was out front. They pressured him, but he didn't falter. Chad Rayford will finish second, and with the rollover, a spin out, you name it, Sean Morris is going to finish third. We'll talk to him in just a bit.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Additives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Additives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by VP Racing Fuels, the official fuel of TORC, and by Atturo, the tire with the style you want and the performance you need.
The beautiful side of Bark River International Raceway is we have one more race to go, but a first-time winner makes his way to the stands and to the fans. Cody Kleinman about to climb out for the very first time in first place. It's not the first time we've heard the name Kleinman on the top of the victory box in TORC, the Off-Road Championship. It is the first time we hear the name Cody Kleinman, the winner of TORC Pro Light here in Bark River.
A very well-deserved celebration for your first ever Pro Light win. That was incredible, Cody. First, congratulations. We have seen a different driver this last year. It's been incredible to watch. How would you say you've changed as a driver?
Just my confidence is there. I know what I can do with the truck now, and it's an amazing feeling. This is what Kyle feels like all the time, so this is pretty cool. Like to thank all my sponsors. Max Tires hooking up. Awesome. Ponze, Dynamic Torque Converters, Billy from Pro Power, J&H, Ultra Race Wheels, Big O's. Thank you, everybody. Woo!
Describe what it's like to do this in your hometown.
You can't get any better than this. I mean, Kyle won yesterday, I won today. How can it get any better? Thank you, Bark River, everybody out here, all these fans. Thank you. Woo!
You can see he's getting a little emotional there with his first ever Pro Light win. Cody Kleinman.
And the support he gets from his family, his sponsors, and mom and dad here. And they said, yesterday was a special day finishing first and second, but finishing first and first in 2 days has to be even more.
Oh, I mean, there's nothing like the first time, and as you can see, he just has the confidence now, and confidence is a strange animal, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the next round when him and his brother go head-to-head, because now they're both winners.
7 rounds down, and Chad Rayford has finished second in 3 of them. Another strong run, Kate.
Another strong run indeed for Chad Rayford. You just said that was fun, but you did have some issues. There were a couple things you're working through, but right now, celebrating this podium for you, it really is a good thing for you.
It's awesome to be back on here, especially after the Crandon crash we had. That was kind of a big one, so to get my confidence back, get up here in second. And my second race ever at Bark River, it's not too bad, I think. So, no, it's awesome. I'd like to thank Kenda Tire, Amsoil, Neverlift, Launderville Steel, ATD Transmissions, everyone, L. Simpson, Race Products, everyone that helps me get this program going. I'm a privateer, and finishes like this really make a good day. So I'd like to get that top spot, but we're close. We're definitely close.
Very close indeed. It's funny, as a racer, he definitely finds things he wants to do differently, but I think, of course, the celebration is important as well.
As we look at the championship point standings, Kay climbing, yep, that's still Kyle. He's still got a 20-point advantage. That's how strong he's been so far. Cody is second, all by his lonesome, because Sean Morris is 1 point behind him in third. Reimers had some problems there, drops back to fourth, Carlson in fifth. But when you see Sean Morris in third and knowing what it took for him to still be in third in points, had to be a special moment. But the Leprechaun does it. He finishes in third place today and makes another podium appearance.
He just is laughing about this. What can you do about it? I mean, how would you describe that? 27 rollovers, though, in your career. It's pretty solid as well.
Oh, man, well, at least should have got first for getting 27 rolls on the number 27. Come on, man. That's what Pro Light is all about. That's what pushing it to the limit actually happens, and sometimes you make mistakes. What are you going to do? From what I heard, though, I still got fast lap, and that's pretty impressive because I biked it twice, spun out once, rolled it, and still ended up on the podium. So, but hey, I'm pretty happy just to be here. The points chase is real.
No doubt about that. Talk about the determination you must have had here today.
I'll tell you, when I'm going upside down, all I'm screaming to myself is just land on the wheels, please. So then when you're just trying to keep pushing it. After that happens, and you kind of get razzled. I got behind a couple guys, they're in the back, and I still got around them. I can't complain. First of all, thanks for Kenda Tires for being here. Look what they went through. There's giant nicks out of them, and they're still here. Anybody can do this with these kind of tires. I'm very proud of that sponsor that I have. But thank you, everybody, all my other sponsors. Thank you very much.
Sean Morris, third place here, definitely using determination as a key word today.
The Leprechaun must have had a couple of 4-leaf clovers in the cockpit that time, Ricky, because he had some good saves.
A little pot of gold. But what was great is that I love how off-road drivers, they flip, and they're as they're rolling, they're not thinking about getting hurt. They're thinking about, I want to land back on my wheels.
Earlier today, we didn't have trucks racing. We had UTVs. The Pro 2 UTV stock division kicked things off. And in that one, CJ Greaves has been dominant for 2017. He started near the front, but Dylan Poynton gave him a run at the get-go.
Yeah, Dylan was running really strong. We saw a couple challenges early on, but CJ methodically started to pick everybody off. Here you see him trying to work his way into the lead. Right here, he makes that move, but watch how he hesitates to block that inside, doing a great job. And Dylan was trying to get back underneath him, but it was all CJ from this point on.
Dylan Poynton was third in points. You see the bicycle even for the little guys, and that was Dylan Poynton. He was up front. He was in those top 3 spots until the last lap. Something happened, and anything can happen here at TORC.
Well, yeah, and the bumping and banging going on, and here we see some of the guys who were
Jake Lunderby just said, I'm going right.
Well, you get to a situation you're blinded, but Jake Lunderby with a great job.
Pro Modified UTVs have been dominated by Rodney Van Eperen, but he had to start in the back of the field because he had to switch motors. Thought he heard something in the engine, made the change, went to a stock, started in 19th, and worked his way up.
This was a hard move right here, and this is what put him into the lead. And Cheney did a great job, but it was Farr that just worked his way back up, got close, worked his way back up into second. Here, this is the pass for second place.
Zach Simic doing really good in that blue UTV.
But Rodney Van Eperen coming all the way from 19th up to a podium position. Great job.
You see a lot of two-wheel driving and, hiccups here and there, but it was really quite the run for Kyle Cheney. He had finished second so many times this year, and he finally takes his first victory in 2017, extends his points lead. Tim Farr in second, and Rodney Van Eperen will finish third. We still have one more race, the Pro Two-Wheel Drives. The last round, it was ultra exciting. I expect more of the same thing today.
Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter. So count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
Well, welcome back to TORC at Bark River, round 8. We've had a lot of great racing this far. Right now, we're getting ready for Pro Two-Wheel Drive. You can see that even though it's the last race of the day, last but definitely not least, they are doing a great job, the crew here, with all the different scrapers and water trucks. The track is in great shape. Here you see the drivers in staging in anticipation. And coming from a driver's perspective, this is the worst time of your life, waiting to get out there and go. Everything is just moving ultra slow. You're waiting to get out there. You're nervous. You feel sick to your stomach. But as soon as the green flag drops, everything goes away, and you're in the best place that you could possibly be, because you're just at one with your race car and also 20 other guys.
Did you have a ritual that you did?
What's funny is that I would kind of nod off and fall asleep, and they say that some people do that. It's kind of a nervous yawn or something like that. I would get the yawns and stuff, and I'd try to keep myself, wired up. But what I would do is before I got into the truck or on the bike, I would visualize. I would think about getting the perfect hole shot, trying to visualize what it was like when I had my best start, and then see myself pulling away from the guys, and then seeing the white flag in first, and then finding myself at the checkered flag in first, and then being congratulated by my family and friends, and that. But not that it.
Positive, but it's like positive reinforcement.
It's positive reinforcement, because you don't want to go in there all negative, like, oh gosh, I've had a bad day. I fell down in practice. My truck's not working good. The sun's blah blah blah. You got to get rid of all that and just come at 100% positive.
Yeah, I always think, and again, I throw it too often, but you and I both, come from a motocross world. But I always think of a guy that did that it was a really good racer and a factory rider in the day, Doug Dubach. But the man could start like nobody's business, and he always talked about that visualization. What it's like going in that first turn before you ever hit it.
Exactly. And so what I would do is I would visualize myself like point of camera, like I was a spectator, see myself going around there, and I would also visualize myself doing it from my own point of view. Really? I would see myself going through there. So, and then actually just feeling the process of releasing the clutch, rolling on the throttle, hitting everything just right, hitting my shifts right, because, in all my years of that, I felt I had what I would consider as close to perfect as 2 starts, one in Japan and one at Carlsbad Raceway. Other than that, not so perfect.
It's not about the start; it's about the finish.
It's about the finish.
Yeah, pretty good. How many Supercross win? 27.
Yeah, I think it was 27. Yeah. But that was a long time ago. Yeah. Hey, VHS and beta tapes and stuff like that.
You were the king at the time. You beat that. Hannah by 1, right?
Until
you got hurt. Hey, thank God though. Yeah. Hey, thank goodness it was by 1.
So now I think I'm 7th and he's 8th or something like that in the all-time win record. But it was a great deal. But yeah, it's got to be painful for the old Hurricane to lose it by 1, because he's told me that. We weren't big fans of each other, but we respect each other to this day. And and I had a world of respect for Bob Hanna, but we didn't like each other that much.
All right, so we're letting. I mean, we have had a little time here as they're prepping for the 2, so we can talk about pretty much anything we want. Let's talk about. You and Hannah weren't necessarily best buddies, and you had that little thing to hold off of him. You introduced me to Brock Glover's dad here at Bark River about 3 or 4 years ago. You and Brock were good buddies, and you have more Supercross wins and championships than him. Do you rib him about that still as he works for Dunlop?
Well, it's a very similar scenario that we saw yesterday with Andrew Carlson beating Luke Johnson. Luke is, feels like he was up there, and then you have the young guy come in his first truck race and then win. It hurts when a guy younger than you or new to this series, even though Luke just started, this year as well, he got his first win as well. But I've had the situation with Ron Lachine. He and I were Team Yamaha riders together, and I helped him do some stuff, and he came back and beat me. When you have a guy younger than you beat you, it really hurts your ego. And then I remember when I beat Brock the first time at the Japan Supercross in 1982. Yes, 1982, believe it or not. He was pissed. I watched, on the podium. It was hard for him to shake my hand because Brock has always been like my big brother, and I always looked up to him, and I always mimicked him, and I watched how hard he trained and everything that he did. He gave me such a platform to shoot for, and that was what was great because I knew him as a human being. But I watched how hard he worked and how diligent he was. He didn't party. He had fun, but he was always.
I thought you said you learned from him.
No, I learned. I learned from others too. I'm still learning from Grant Langston. I haven't gotten the party thing quite down yet.
Yeah, no.
But learning from Brock was great. But it was hard for him. And then at the same time, when Jeremy McGrath beat me the first time, or Jeff Stanton beat me the first time, it dings your ego a little bit. But then you know what? Then it's like, okay, now that's out of the way. Now let's get back after it. But those guys, Lachine, all of those guys, they did a great job and had awesome careers after that.
Get the cameras out. You see the climbing crew there with the T-shirts and stuff, and getting the video, and I'm sure they'll post it on social media and everything. And Sean's been there. He's done that. But even the old man still likes, getting the champagne spray. But this will be a moment that, Cody will always remember.
Well, and what's great is it's his family and friends. When he's cruising around town, he's going to be sitting a little taller in the seat. He's going to have a little more smile. I don't know what his relationships are, but I don't want to start any trouble. But the girls will smile at him a little bit more.
And however many thousands of people are here, there will be 3 or 4 times that many that say they were here. When it comes to that, I remember when you won. I was there that day you won at Bark River.
Yeah, but what's great, he's going to hear it all around town. It goes to breakfast, goes to coffee, goes to lunch, goes that. Hey, you the climber that won. It doesn't matter if it's Cody or Kyle. They both say yes, we are.
Yes,
so congratulations to the climbing family, from the mother, the father, everybody that's doing such a great job, and the kids, their drivers. That's to me, I think the biggest compliment you can give somebody is that they're a driver that they worked for it and they worked their tail off. So congratulations.
Speaking of people working their tail off, Jeff Norrisom's crew is trying to get this track prep, whether it's the first race or the second race of the day, because you've already had one, or the last race of the day. They're trying to give these guys all the opportunity in the world. I mean, there you say, don't spend too much time on it. We only got to get through one more race. But no, they're prepping it just the same. They want this to be the best race of the day, and it's the last race of the day.
Well, and they're working the track really well. So I think we're going to see a very fast Pro 2-wheel drive. I'm excited about it because a lot of the guys, like first and second points, are sitting have to start 5th and 6th, and that's Luke Johnson and also Brad Lovell. But now Andrew Carlson, who started up front yesterday, has to work his way up. And yesterday he said, I never felt a roost. I don't know what it's like. Well, guess what, son? You're about to find out.
Yeah, because you get to start in 13th today, not on the front row.
Right, but still, he's got a lot of speed. He's got a great crew behind him and everything. So I don't expect to see him back there for very long.
Great crew behind him. We have several sponsors behind us. We're going to step aside for just a bit. Thanks for sticking with us here in Bark River, Michigan.
Golf is more than a word. It's a sport, a pastime, and the destination? Sweetgrass Golf Club. Perfect your swing as you aim for the flag on an island. And your stay? At the island. Unwind and relax. A little spin, a big deal. Celebrate the day. All part of your total experience at the island. Stay and play Sweetgrass. Call 877-ISL-GREEN today.
Welcome back to Bark River, Michigan, and this is the racetrack. But if you watch during that video break, I saw that golf course. I want to find that golf course next year because this is one of the best short course off-road racing facilities in the country. And man, I need to hit the links. Kate Osborne, I think you've caught up with Mr. Kleiman. Which Kleiman do you have? Either way, it's a winner. It's Kyle.
I got Kyle. And it's interesting because we didn't see Kyle out racing for the most of that race. What happened?
I just kind of over-rotated a little bit, and I was trying to back up and get out of the way when Cam was coming through, and wasn't quick enough, and he must have clipped my tire just enough. I know he tried to miss me, but I broke a tie rod, so kind of put us out of the race when you can't really steer, so kind of sucks. But hey, at least my brother's on top.
Simply put, at least his brother's on top, right, guys?
That's right, Kate. And boy's got his head sock on again.
Committed to the game.
Yeah, he got some game. You see the Pro two-wheel drives lining up a little different order than we typically have. Start with the 4s, lights, then 2s. Typically we'll have lights, 2s, then 4s, but a little different format this week. And this will be a big class, our largest class of the afternoon for the trucks. 15 entries in this one. Kevin Hanegraaff, Lee Beverage, Sundrop, Ellington Mutual Insurance, Pops Tire, Miller Electric will set the pace, lead the field.
Mark Peterson on the outside from Lena, Wisconsin. Also from Peterson Dairy, Canada Tires, and Vargo Tool and Die.
Mitch Dorr, he gets to start third, and I'm not totally sure what happened. I think he had some steering issues yesterday. He was in a good position to make up ground like Luke Johnson did over Brad Lovell when Lovell had his issues. But Mitch, he went down literally in that last one, went from 5th or 6th to outside that top 10, and that really, really hurt his championship standings.
And now we see the Toyota of Escondido pace truck pulling out, showing everybody around the way with that great American flag. Proud to be an American, and we are making America great again.
Making Pro 2 great again.
Yep.
Allies of Autism, you see Kevin Hanegraaff just behind that Toyota of Escondido pace truck. And the final race of the day, you see the sun bouncing off of the freshly groomed track. And fresh tracks, you'll see guys working left and right, trying to find where that grip is, how their tires are going to react into that particular portion. That very first time into there, they're going to be hitting it, or that next time around, they're going to be hitting it at much, 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 much more speed.
But when you come over that Canada Tire jump, when you come up, you get blinded by the sun, and then you don't know where the takeoff is. So we see that the big Kenda arch out there coming over the top of that. They're going directly from east to west. And when you come over there, you're blinded for a little bit. It's like getting blinded by a truck or something like that coming at you with their brights on. It blinds you for a second, and then you land back in it and get it back after. But we got some racing coming on because we got the guys that were quick yesterday, and then also Brad Lovell, who had trouble, losing a couple head gaskets. They got that fixed. They worked on that truck. He went out and practiced, was fast, so always expect him up front.
Finish line. It will be a 10-lap race just like the other truck classes. Competition caution at the halfway point. Eric Ruppel in the mix as well. Even though I might have called him Brad Ruppel a time or two, it is Eric that is out there in that Maxxis entry. We still have one more race to go, and it's high horsepower excitement, but two-wheel drives. It's the Pro two-wheel drive from Bark River, Michigan. Stop number 8 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. They call it the throwdown in the UP, and yesterday, the last round, it was definitely a throwdown. I expect the same thing here. You look at the Pro 2s, very similar to the Pro 4s, except for they actually run DOT tires, and that's a big factor here for 2017.
Well, they made some changes this year. They went to a steel block, but a smaller configuration, 410 cubic inch, 700 to 710 horsepower, depending on how well that thing dynos. 20 inches of wheel travel, minimum weight of 4,000 pounds, and also the wheelbase is 117 inches, but it's DOT tires, and they are doing great because the tires have advanced so much over the years.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Leading the field will be Kevin Hanegraaff, that Allies for Autism, Lee's Beverage, Sundrop Chevy next to Mark Peterson. Mitch Dorr had his problems on the last lap at the last round. Eric Ruppel, the first round winner, will start on the second row. Brad Lovell will start fifth. He was a points leader coming into the last round. He lost it, had a water pump go throughout the week, and head gasket problems. He's changed to head gasket. He doesn't know if this engine's going to last. We don't know if this engine's going to last, but watch out for the 44 and the series points leader. Luke Johnson will start sixth, number 14th out of Marietta, California. There's the starting line just ahead. Green flag means go. Hanegraaff on the throttle. Peterson on the outside. That should set Peterson up for that right-hander on the inside now.
And I saw Brad Lovell make a shoot to the inside with a great move right there. We can see that Luke Johnson got stuck behind, got stuck behind Ruppel, so now he has to work his way through. Now, right now up front, that's Mark Peterson doing a great job.
And Ruppel, you see him trying to drive in. I think that was on Mitch Dorr, who started third, but this is everything that Brad Lovell wanted to see. He hadn't won a Pro 2 race until Crandon. When it came around, he won both races at the last couple of stops.
But Brad Lovell with a great first turn finds himself going from fifth place all the way up to second, so great job by him.
They threw down quite a bit of water, but you can see some dust on the track. It will bring down. How do you set up the truck? It's always a big question. Do you set it up for when it's tacky early? Do you set it up for when it's drier late?
Well, Luke, yesterday, I know from a personal standpoint, went with a more of a dry tire, but the cushion is the key here, so you definitely want to be running an aggressive tire in the rear to get that forward bite.
Front two are getting away. Third place, I believe, Mitch Dorr. We got a gaggle of trucks just behind him, so holding up just a bit, it looks like, but these front two guys are trying to run away. Check out him.
They have got a huge lead right now as we see the drivers in second, third, and fourth. And that, I'm pretty sure Luke Johnson has moved himself up into third or definitely fourth position at this point. But I really got to compliment Peterson right now, doing a great job out front. He's pushing a little bit, running a little hard. Now we see Brad Lovell looking to the inside, but it puts Peterson in the best position.
Brad Lovell, a former Pro Lights champion of the TORC series, in second, putting the pressure on Peterson, and moves up from the sportsman category. Kate Osborne, you have more?
Brad Lovell definitely trying to do all he can to get on top of the box here today, especially after his round 7 race. He said he had to tear down that engine, put in a new head gasket, which was actually the problem. He actually went to an auto parts store earlier today to get that new gasket fixed. It was an issue that he had been having that he was struggling to find out, but he was thankful that he got it sorted. More importantly, he feels that he has not been able to get his setup right for this track because he hasn't had the time to, but it looks like right now he is running well.
Yeah, it started with a water pump, Kate. Thank you very much. Started with a water pump, and it gets hot. Maybe hopefully doesn't warp the heads, because that could be the death sentence. But right now she's holding on with fresh gasket.
But I got to give it to Mark Peterson. He's doing a great job. He's running really hard. You can see he's running the cushion, and that's frustrating Brad a little bit because he's been eating so much roost. Now you might think that a Pro 4 throws up more roost, but all the horsepower going to the two-wheel drive. Brad making a mistake getting up on the wheel. Now Luke Johnson closing the gap right behind Brad Lovell.
Yeah, Peterson, though, look at him checking out just a bit. Brad Lovell, he's got Luke Johnson on his tail. Luke closing in big time. And how did he make up that much ground in such a short amount of time?
Well, it was a mistake by Brad Lovell, and we see Luke Johnson shooting to the inside, trying to stay out of the roost. He's probably going to do an over-under, try to get a good run off of this double jump. You see Brad get up on the side, but right now, these are the 2 points leaders, and they're dicing for second place as Mark Peterson is running away.
I want to point out, though, as you see Lovell in second, Johnson on him, we wondered how Andrew Carlson would do. He started in 12th, I believe. Andrew Carlson has moved up to 4th place, so can he pass people in Pro 2s? The answer is yes, and there he is there. But everybody is chasing Mark Peterson, the 2016 Midwest Off-Road Racing Super Truck Champion. He comes from the sportsman category, now into Pro 2. This driver comes from Pro Lights, now into Pro 2, and gets immediate success. I don't think any of those top 3 really want him on their back bumper as they start the second half of this race.
I disagree. I think they want to. They want to be side by side because you want to know you beat beat the guy fair and square. You don't want to have, you don't want to have what happened to Brad Lovell yesterday, DNF. I would rather see the guys, all the best guys racing, and that's what we're seeing right now. And we still have a competition yellow. So we see Andrew Carlson working his way, trying to catch those guys, and obviously he's done a great job. All the fenders are, oh, Brad Lovell goes around. We didn't see what happened there, but Brad Lovell goes around, and now Luke Johnson is in second place.
Peterson, Johnson, Lovell, was he able to even hold on to third, or was it Carlson? Carlson actually moves into third. Lovell drops back to fourth. Doerr's going to be in fifth. Peterson's doing it, and let's talk about the differences, because there are many more sportsmen from last year in the Pro 2 this year. This is a guy who's always a front runner in those sportsman races.
Exactly, and this engine configuration, everything is where they came from in sportsmen. So now we see Peterson doing a great job out in front, but Luke Johnson in second, and back a little ways is Andrew Carlson. So we will try to find what happened and show that to y'all.
Seeing Luke taking that drastic inside line. Peterson trying to drive that outside line, just running his own race. Again, after lap 5 of 10, we will have that competition caution. All right, let's take a look at what happened when Brad Lovell goes around. He gets into it, I guess, with Andrew Carlson that we didn't see as well. The rotation here, Ricky.
Oh, and Andrew Carlson comes out, and they both hit, and bam, he gets into him. So there was really, that was nobody's fault. That was a driving situation. And when you come around that turn where Luke's at right now, he's moved in the lead, so we have a new leader in Luke Johnson. As you come over that, there's horizon, and you can't see, and you're also into the sun. So the spotter's doing the best that he can to tell Andrew where to go, but he just got into Brad Lovell, and obviously not intentionally, because he was on the brakes.
Luke Johnson, the 25-year-old out of California, been in the Pro Light division the past several years, is running full-time out of his own pocket. That multicam entry, Langley Ford, is looking good. He had his one bad race, and that was at ERX Motor Park, where he clipped a barrier, and that knocked him out of the race. That was his one bad race. If you have one and can still be in the points lead, things are good. Let's take a look at how this pass for the lead went down.
You see Luke Johnson coming to the outside, Peterson on the inside, Luke squaring it up. Looks like Peterson pushes a little bit. Luke gets a good drive down low, but Peterson's still on the gas very hard. But Luke shoots out, gets the double jump, gets it clean, no bumping, no banging. Luke Johnson up into the first place.
Mark Peterson eventually had to back out of it because that outside line runs into a wall, and we've seen many of problems in that wall in years past.
Exactly, and the thing is that the course right now is the best that we've seen all weekend. So my hat is off. I've been coming here for many years. The first time was in 1989, and the track honestly has never looked this good. So they saved the best for last this weekend here. As you're watching Luke Johnson, hearing him feather the throttle, trying to get that traction with those Cooper Maxes.
Typically 5 laps into a Pro 2 race, you would have seen Blue Groove in that big left-hand sweeper. There wasn't any. You could see it kind of building up, but it should have already happened.
This is a fun track right now. Luke Johnson's having a great time, but once again, I really got to put it out there for Mark Peterson, doing a great job. Was strong up front, still holding solid in second place, but we still have the competition yellow, and Andrew Carlson is going to be right up on their back door.
Yes, he is, and he's in third. Left-hand turn, the yellow and red flag come out. Luke Johnson started in 6th. He's in first now. Peterson started in 2nd. He's staying there. But what's going to happen with the round 7 winner of Andrew Carlson, the Carlson Motorsports 151? He started way back in the pack, and he's now going to start nose to tail in 3rd.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper. An American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
There he is, Brad Lovell, the man who sits second in championship points, only 3 behind Luke Johnson. They're working on that right front. Something's not right. They're not lifting up. Oh, are they lifting the hood? They might have already lifted that hood. I thought they were working, but the jacks aren't under it. He's got problems. He's had problems all weekend. Started with a water pump. Water pump might have led to a head gasket. Head gasket, when they blow like that and they tweak those, oil pump belt is what we're now hearing. So either way, engine problems for Brad Lovell.
Yeah, and in a tough break, you don't want to see that. We can see, one of the drivers out back there is smoking a little bit. But a tough break, and you don't want to win that way. Luke said yesterday it was a tough break for him, and you want to race the best guy and know that you've beat the best guys. And Brad Lovell is the guy who has been so hot in this class.
The Toyota Escondido pace truck will exit, and now, look, nose to tail, Door back and forth, Ruppel in 5th, Nelson, Badone, Mueller, Hanegraaff, Rundhagen. It's anyone's game, anyone's race, and watch 3rd place, Andrew Carlson, the defending race winner here in Bark River.
Andrew Carlson looking to the inside of Peterson. Peterson doing a great job, and he's not able to pull that off. But right here, we've seen a lot of action in this turn right before they go over the top of this jump.
Luke Johnson right now wants to check out. He wants to separate himself. He knows he might, if Carlson is faster, he knows he's got a good guy in Mark Peterson in between him.
Well, and he raced with Andrew yesterday, and he saw how fast he was going, and he knows what can happen. So right now it's up to Luke Johnson to just put together the best qualifying laps that he can, as we see Peterson still doing a great job holding off. And he's not holding off blocking, but he is holding off a charging Andrew Carlson.
Listen to Kate Osborne.
One thing that Luke Johnson was saying that he had on these guys, even though he wasn't on top of the box in round 7, was that he was quick here. He had the fastest laps every single session and in round 7. That is one thing that he knows he has. On top of that, he knows that he cannot make any mistakes. So on the back end, he knows he's fast, but he also knows there's pressure to not make any mistakes at this point.
Exactly. So you got to run out there. You're absolutely right, Kate. Because when you're out in front like this, you keep wondering about what's going on behind me. And right now, this is what's going on behind him. Andrew Carlson looking to the inside, but Peterson with a great job running the cushion and holding it together. Both guys sideways doing a great job of driving. I mean, throwing down 750 horsepower that close to each other. Awesome job.
Andrew Carlson had the biggest holy moly great googly moogly moment that I have seen out of that Cooper tire launch. He was so endoed on that thing, I thought he was going to stick that last time around, Ricky.
What I think
your heart rate, you have to get down.
Well, he had a closing rate on Peterson, and so he just had to slam on the brakes right before he took off, and then that transfers all the way to the nose, threw him on the nose. But right there, he got up so close behind Peterson that he couldn't see where he was going, and he lost a little ground. So Andrew Carlson has to work his way back up about 8 car lengths, but it's Luke Johnson out in front.
The Cooper tires hooked up like a tow truck for Luke Johnson right now. Red Bull Team Multicam, Langley Ford, showing how to get it done. Luke Johnson started off the year with 3rd and 1st place finishes, but again, that 9th had been his nemesis, and he needed some help from some of the other guys, and unfortunately, some bad times for Brad Lovell here in Bark River. As we take a look at the race for 4th, Mitch Door, Eric Ruppel. That's Door on the black truck just in front of Eric Ruppel, the Maxxis tires. You see that purple and orange entry.
The solid racing all the way back. You know, it's unfortunate that we got to just focus on one, because when you come and spectate these races, you get to watch everything going on around you. And Eric Ruppel doing a great job trying to find his way around Mitch Door. But Mitch Door comes from a great racing heritage, and now we see Ruppel on the inside. Mitch Door, his father, Jeff Door, always coaching, always spotting, always helping. Great racing going back and forth, good clean racing.
Mitch Door on that Monster Energy machine, and you see him in the black truck. He's the 2016 Midwest Off-Road Racing Super Stock Truck Champion. So again, another sportsman guy who you see, just like, you know, we were talking about earlier with some of the other drivers like Mark Peterson. You're used to seeing these guys in front, but the configurations are a little bit different. Eric Ruppel wins the first. That was our biggest surprise this season. Wins the first race of the year in Chicago.
Eric Ruppel trying everything he can. He's looking inside, looking outside. I love it when you see a driver just giving it all. And right now, Eric Ruppel is leaving it all on the track. So Mitch Dorr doing a great job. And as you can see, that sun is going down to the west. This is the far east side of the corner. You see the drivers up in front of him. Another great race. But now Eric Rubel making some time on the outside. Can he make it happen?
Yeah, he's trying to hold him off. That automatic transmission, Monster Energy Ford of Mitch Dorr holding off Eric Rupel. Look at the race for a second. Carlson is closed in again. Peterson on the outside. He gets into the ruts. Now there's a difference between a hole and a rut, and that's a continuous turn.
And Andrew Carlson makes the pass. What happened is Peterson goes a little bit wide, and he comes around and he loses a little bit. But now Andrew Carlson is in second place. How much ground does he have to make up on Luke Johnson with just 2 laps to go?
He's got to be about 2.5 seconds faster on a lap if he's going to win this thing. Because Luke had checked out the last time around was 4.9 seconds quicker. What happened here?
So what happens is that you see Andrew Carlson around the outside, and Rupel had already made the mistake right before he came on camera. He got wide through those doubles, and that allowed Andrew Carlson to get a run on the inside and make a clean pass across the outside. So great job by Andrew Carlson.
9 laps. They're on lap number 9 right now, and Andrew Carlson in second. The differential is 6.2 seconds. Fastest lap of the race, Luke Johnson, LJ14, a 1:23.43. That's over 0.2 of a second quicker than Andrew Carlson.
And right now, Andrew, you can see he's working the wheel pretty hard, looking for traction, trying to find his way around there. But now we have a new contender when it comes to Pro 2-wheel drive in Andrew Carlson. So we have that, because before we saw a little bit of a runaway with Level and Luke Johnson. Now you have another guy that's up there in the mix. And also, once again, Mark Peterson, very, very strong today.
Yeah, and Andrew Carlson is out of it as far as the championship, but he's not out of the championship picture because he can put himself in between those title contenders. But who's going to be the guy that steps up? Brad Lovell has a mechanical. Eric Rubel is back there in a top 5 spot. So Rubel will move up a bit.
So the interesting thing is going to be, does Andrew Carlson bag the Pro Light and just stick with Pro 2-wheel drive?
Do them both, Ricky. Do them both.
But it's hard to switch from one to the other. We're watching Luke Johnson out front with the multi-cam entry. He's running the ST Max in the rear with the Cooper tires. He had the other tire yesterday, and he did not like that.
White flag out. One more to go here in the Pro 2-wheel drive. You say it's hard to get out of one and go to the other. His spotter is CJ Greaves, Andrew Carlson's. He did it. He got out of the 2s and won both 2s and 4s.
Exactly. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not easy. And when I said that he didn't like it, it's not that the tire didn't work well, but we talked about the different grooving pattern. He went a little bit narrow grooves for more of a hard pack tire. And today, as you can see, the cushion is the way around. So Luke Johnson for multicam and method wheels, and everybody's doing a great job.
LJ14 and I mean, Ricky, it's your son out there, and I know you're loving what you're seeing out of this. And every lap truck out there, you're saying, hold your line. But the pride of being a father, watching your son do this and knowing he's doing it out of his pocket, because he needed to have a strong finish in that Cup race back at Grandin to just keep things going, because the sponsors can do so much, but this is not easy and it is not cheap.
You got to be a driver. And right now I know that my wife Stephanie and Luke's mom is at home crying, bawling. She's there with the Flanagans watching the race, and also Luke's brother Jake and sister Cassidy. They're making their moves to LA. So right now the Johnson family is in a great place.
Luke Johnson's a series points leader, had a couple of seconds. He has a win. Well, after this left-hand turn, it's not just going to be one win in 2017. Make it 2 wins. He takes the Yamaha checkered flag. Luke Johnson wins in Park River. Wants to do a little donut victory celebration. Going to have to wait just a little bit, but I can promise you, Luke, after the tough round he had at ERX Motor Park, was ready to get it back on track and show he had the fastest Pro 2-wheel drive. But hey, kudos goes to Andrew Carlson. And how about Mark Peterson? He finishes on the podium for his 3rd time this year. He will finish 3rd. Mitch Dorr, Eric Rupel round out the top 5. We'll hear from our top 3 right after this.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged radios, the authority in communications.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by AMSOIL, devoted to protection, and by Cooper Tires. We make tires for people, not just cars.
The green grass of northern Michigan, the upper peninsula, the Upers have seen an excellent day of racing, whether it be sportsmen, pro UTVs, or the pro lights 2s or 4s. What a race here at Bark River International Raceway. Robbie Floyd, Ricky Johnson, Kate Osborne. Glad you could be with us on TORCseries.com. Thanks for watching throughout the day. And a solid run by the top competitors out there. Unfortunately, I'm looking at results unofficially. Brad Lovell in 13th. When you get to 13th and beyond, you only get one championship point. So it is, when he comes into this, this venue at Bark River, he's positive thoughts. Coming off 2 wins. He leaves here and he just got everything handed to him, and we still don't know how much damage is done to that truck if he's having more mechanical woes.
Exactly. Tough blow for him, and you don't want to see that. You want to see all the guys, the great guys fighting for the lead, but a great day of racing for these three.
There they are, lined up, the top 3 finishers in the Pro 2-wheel drive here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship. The throw down in the UP, and nobody threw down harder than LJ14. Luke Johnson, the California boy, takes his 2nd win of the season, and the accolades that go with it.
The excitement was real in that victory celebration right there. Luke Johnson taking home his 2nd win of the 2017 season. For you, you had to stay cool, calm, and collected. That second half of that race, you knew you couldn't make any mistakes. How did you maintain mentally strong?
Well, the guys put an awesome truck behind me. I can't thank my crew enough. Billy from Pro Power, Charlie at ATD. They put a solid package under this truck, and I wouldn't be here this weekend without Wagner Shell and Southside Tire. Man, they've been helping me a lot back in Anago, so I'm stoked to be back on top. Yesterday we were fast. Andrew did an awesome job, but man, these Cooper tires are hooking up awesome today. Rugged radio communication was on point. Method wheels were awesome. Man, Maximo, thank you for coming on board. It's a good day.
Fastest lap in round 8, fastest lap in round 7. Bark River, good place for Luke Johnson.
Excellent job by Huckleberry there, as again, he looks like Huckleberry on that Lonesome Dove show. LJ taking the win. Carlson almost goes back to back. He just couldn't quite get up there and put the pressure on Luke. Luke just had a little something for him today. Peterson, again, another podium finish for him, but a terrible day, as you don't see Brad Lovell in that top 10. He loses a ton of championship points. Let's go down to Kate Osborne, who's with Andrew Carlson.
Well, roller coaster of emotions for Andrew Carlson here today. Pro Light, not what you expected yet again, like round 7, getting into your truck here. You had to be mentally strong. What was your mindset knowing you had another job to do?
You know, it wasn't as bad as yesterday that way in Pro Light, because I did feel really good on the track, and I think we had good lines and had something for the leaders, but just couldn't keep the tires on it, I guess. But getting in the Pro 2, I knew what the track was going to be like, and I just had to get work done fast. And really surprised, actually, how quick I got through some of those guys. You know, I kind of popped out back here, and I'm like, oh, I'm in 4th or 5th or whatever. But really cool that way. You know, it took me a while to get up to 2nd. Peterson ran a great race. So a lot of these guys are for real. I mean, it's not sporty 2 guys out there. These dudes, everyone's fast. So it's not a given to be up front. So just super grateful with the team, everyone working so hard. Glad I could get up on the box another day.
He said following up a win, it's definitely something you have to prove, and he did just that here today.
Thanks, Kate. And I say at the top of the show, expect the unexpected. He didn't even expect to be in that top 3 that quick, having to pass that many drivers. And look how the points have changed. Luke wasn't in the points lead coming into this round. He was far from it. My, how the tides have changed.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. After what happened to Luke at ERX, he was worried about it. So his deal was go out and win every race he can. But it's a tough blow for Brad Lovell. You don't want to see that for anybody, especially a guy that strong in the championship contention.
Mark Peterson was in 5th in points, though, Ricky. And again, strong finish for him. He moves up another spot and another podium for Mark.
Heck of a race for Mark Peterson. You battled up at the front. You battled for second. You battled for third. You end up on the box. I mean, it's a good day. However, you probably had something. These guys probably had something on you. What is it you can take to the next round?
Boy, I don't know. This is a great finish for the Broken Dirty truck today. The Pro 2 sponsor, Kenda Tires, were awesome today. Vargo Tool and Die, I got to thank all of our sponsors, Peterson Dairy, HP 53. These guys are the ones that really helped me out. I can't be happier for those guys to put this truck up on the podium today.
All right, Mark Peterson, 3rd place, another podium for him for 2017.
And Peterson getting emotional there as well, and rightfully so. Another strong finish, and Andrew Carlson mentioned how these aren't sporty 2 drivers, and I know you want to get down there with your son, but it's not he was talking about it's not sporty 2 drivers, but a lot of these guys came from the sportsman's category, but these are Pro 2 trucks, or what we now call Pro 2 trucks. There are some differences, but still strong machines.
Right, and when you're looking at what Andrew Carlson said is that these guys are for real. They're racing hard. They're putting it down. And yesterday, he did great. Not taking anything from him. In fact, massive kudos to the Carlson family for Andrew. Congratulations for him yesterday, and also backing it up today. So he showed yesterday. He said, I never even felt what a roost was. He got he got plenty of it today, and he handled it well, and he handles that big truck. And I want to say that it's more his snowmobile racing where he has to handle all that horsepower.
Were you more impressed with his win yesterday or the 2nd place today, having to work up through to get that spot? Well, your opinion.
The win, because you have everything to lose and nothing to gain when you start up front, and then all of a sudden he's got a driver that he's raced with in the past and knows charges hard, and Luke Johnson right up behind him, looking inside, looking outside, and he held his composure. Very, very impressive, because a lot of young guys and a lot of racers would have just crumbled and made big mistakes, because it's hard. You're driving, as they say, like you have an egg underneath your foot, so you have to be very smooth with the throttle in Pro 2 because it's a locked rear end, it's a spooled rear end, so you got to make sure that you're driving it very smooth, and great job to him. But both him and Luke Johnson had stellar weekends.
We've still got the Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award. I was talking to our producer there. I was like, do we have a winner? Do we have a winner? Who would you say your winner is? Who do you think the thought is?
I got to give it to Cody Kleiman. Cody winning his first race. He didn't make, but he had to race his way up there. There's something special about your first win, and to win it at your hometown, and then you got second to your brother the day before. So my pick for the Vision Wheels Bad Mofo is Cody Kleiman.
So $250. That's who you think it will be.
What about announcers? Do our announcers in the?
Yeah.
Can we?
No?
And
the producer's double checking me. He said, "You sure it's $250?" I think it might be $225 now.
I think it's.
I got $25 in my pocket. No, I'm just kidding. If the UTVs were eligible, I would say Rodney Van Hepperen for doing that. I went before, but they're not eligible. But when I looked at his UTV, his Yamaha over there, and there wasn't an engine in it, and then knowing that he did what he did and salvaged a chance for a championship, I mean, that was an incredible drive.
But that's a championship drive. That's when somebody's at the end. A lot of times everybody pays attention at a basketball game or a football game. The points at the end of the game. It's what happened in the middle is sometimes just as important. A point is a point. And Ronnie Van Hepperen did a great job with a stock motor. Pulled his way up there. He said all he had in there was a cam, drove that thing to the front, was on the podium, and that could be the difference between winning and losing this championship at the end.
That's the case. All right, we're going to step aside for just a bit. We'll find out who our Vision Wheels Bad Mofo is here in just a moment at Bark River.
Born into a family of builders, Randy View has a long history in the building industry. He began his career as a builder, but life events moved Randy in a new direction, where he became a registered architect. With a passion for both building and design, Randy's dream became a reality, and View Incorporated, a design-build firm, was born. Design-build is a project delivery method where the designer and builder is the same company. This delivery method is growing in popularity for a few reasons. It saves our client time, money, and gives them more control over their project. At View Incorporated, we believe the success of a project relies on the details, and that's where we shine. We design everything in-house, from the architectural, structural, to the plumbing, heating, electrical, and civil. This results in saving both time and money because we are not paying multiple firms for design and waiting for that design. A design-build project is more efficient because communication and planning happens between just two people, you, the owner, and our firm. We specialize in commercial projects with an emphasis in metal buildings made with American steel. As an authorized Nucor builder, we design, deliver, and build from start to finish. We take pride in understanding every component of your project, considering your short-term and long-term goals. For example, with our metal buildings, we conduct a heat loss analysis and install a high-performance, energy-efficient system to ensure that your investment provides long-term comfort and savings. Your project is our passion. Our goal is simple: to provide you the commercial space that you'll be proud of for years to come while saving time and money. Build it better. Build it faster. Build it with View Incorporated.
You got to love being on that podium, and even though he hasn't stepped up there, Luke Johnson stands on top, taking that middle position. You see the K&N livery of Andrew Carlson on the left, taking a win and a second place in his debut weekend on TORC the Off-Road Championship in Pro 2-wheel drive. Another strong run by Mark Peterson and the two Monster Energy truck. And Luke down there talking to Tiffany Stone. And there's a smile. My partner, Ricky Johnson, he's headed down there. I'm sure he's got his Kodak disc or whatever camera he's using these days. I know you don't know what I'm talking about with the Kodak disc, but I promise you, Ricky's out there. There's Mr. Carlson, and had to be a good weekend for him, even though he's just disgusted. He told me he was disgusted with the way that things have been going in the pro light, but it still had to be a positive note, you know, doing what he did, Andrew did in the Pro 2-wheel drive. A lot of LJ14 fans with them making Pro 2 great again. There he is. There's Ricky. I knew he would be there. And just like our cameraman, he's trying to find the best shot. Ricky Johnson, you know, does a lot of television work now, and he, of course, gets right in front of our camera because that's the best shot. Now the champagne toast that Ricky had mentioned earlier, and the driving suit thing could get oh so funky if you do it enough. But all right, they're aiming for somebody. Some skilled veterans. So 2 of the 3 on that podium have won so far in 2017. Mark Peterson, it's your turn next. We'll see if he can do that at the next round at Redbud. But don't count out the Wisconsin boy on that Kenda Toyota. Peterson could do it in the right situation. No, there are no more races, but yet they do still have to prep the track and get ready for the next time somebody else does come out here. And a great kudos to Jeff Nordstrom and the entire family for what they did. As you know, they made an excellent racetrack for this final race of the day of the Pro 2-wheel drives. So they'll rework the track, and you know, sometimes they do rent out the track or lease out the track for the drivers. But we'd already talked about Luke with his pose, talked about how nobody's really gotten on to this track here at Bark River. Unlike Crandon, a couple of times people have been out. ERX, we know people have been out. Oh, special dad moment. Make Pro 2 great again. Look at Pops. And you know, at the age that Luke's at now is when Ricky was winning his championships, and now Luke trying to win a Pro 2 championship. So it's cool to see father and son and LJ14. And Mom, Steph, you can quit crying now. The sandwich maker of the family and a proud mama, Steph. Well, we wish you could be here, and hopefully she can come and make it to either Redbud or ERX or Crandon. But the stand's cleared out in a hurry here, and the one thing we're missing is the Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award. We'll get that here in just a moment. If you haven't been, and I know I said it earlier before, if you haven't been to Bark River, you need to come. All of our stops have something special. That little barn area back there, it is a festival of activities on the Saturday night of the 2-day weekend. All the camping spots that are to the right side of where this camera is. I mean, many people stay out here and just have a good time. They have shuttle transports left and right and from the front. But it is a tremendous facility and a staple in TORC the Off-Road Championship. All right, there's the race team picture. Luke, his mechanics, his dad, his girlfriend, and representing his sponsor as well, taking the final race of the day, the Pro 2-wheel drive. So now, if he can keep some of that money in his pocket and not lose it all at casino, well, that's yet to be determined. So those stage hogs out there, the Johnsons, as we prepare the Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award coming up next. Who would you say, as fans, hashtag TORC17, hashtag TORC, TORCseries.com. We know you've been watching throughout the day. Who would be the recipient in your eyes? Would it be Luke for his victory? Would it be Cody Kleiman for his? Does it even have to be a victory? Could it be Sean Morris with the rollover, the spin around, still finishing in third? Who are the choices for the Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award? It is about time to find out. If you were here on site, you got to hear Scott Rain, Brent Smith, and Miss TORC, Tiffany Stone. And speaking of Tiffany, she's down trackside. Who's going to be the winner of the Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award, Tiff?
This is by far my most favorite award ever. I mean, look at this. It's embroidered. It has everything on there. And I have the pleasure to do this in this guy's hometown at his home track. And he just took that top spot today, Mr. Cody Kleiman. Cody, congratulations. You are a Bad Mofo. This is the Vision Wheel Bad Mofo Award. You won that pretty much. I mean, you dominated that. You were out front. You were doing everything. You started in second, but no matter where you're at, you always got to get up front. How does that make you feel right now? Bark River, hometown hero, $250 richer.
Awesome. Just ran out front and just stayed smooth. Just got be myself and just no mistakes, and I got it. So this is awesome.
Well, you are now a Vision Wheel Bad Mofo, so show everybody right there on the back for you. Woo! That is Cody Kleiman right over there. He's got the Ponzi, the Maxxis, everything. You have been doing great. I told you guys it was the season of black and yellow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tiff. Congratulations, Cody. And following in his brother's footsteps in that, brother takes the win, takes the award, the same day. Cody takes the win, takes the award the second day here in Bark River. So what a day of racing. We kicked it off with Sportsman, some Pro Stock and Mod UTVs. Congratulations to all of our winners. Thanks for watching on TORCseries.com. For Kate Osborne, Ricky Johnson, I'm Robbie Floyd. Next up, we're in Redbud next month in August. Come and join us in person or watch on TORCseries.com. Thanks for watching.